Welcome to the GCW Plant Podcast One Night Stand. John, don't Stanley yourself here. How are you doing tonight?
This is a wild night, guys. It's going to be fun tonight. Yeah, this is One Night Stand. I'm feeling great. We're going to have a fun time. Everybody knows how things like this go. Right here tonight on April 22nd, we have the cream of the crop rises to the top. Macho Man Randy Savage, baby. So yeah, I'm feeling great. We have a very full night ahead of us. The collective was huge. So I have to ask now, the man of the hour, our West Coast correspondent, Screwball. How you doing tonight, bud?
I believe this is actually my first time on the GCW Plant Podcast.
That's true. It really is. And you may be the first guest on the GCW Plant Podcast. Is that true, B?
I think so, too. Unless we had one of those group chats.
What an honor.
I don't think so.
No, we were straight up just you and me broadcasting. Like, this is back to basics, and it's really good because this is where we really came from. This is where we're comfortable at. And yeah, so one night only. Here we roll. How do we want to start this whole thing off here? Because what I really wanted to say was I'm hoping that everyone got home safe after a very huge week of wrestling. And I also hope everyone is not completely broke. So
I'll be all right. I didn't have to travel, so I saved a lot of money by not having to get a hotel room and not having to get Ubers. And I actually helped a few good friends save a bunch of money too. Shout out Val Pancakes and Jessica.
Nice. Oh, heck yeah. And you know what? We saw Val Pancakes at spring break, and my wife had a chance to say hi because
it would have been clusterfuck. Like, I know she was not at spring break.
Sorry, yeah, that was it. It was at the clusterfuck, and it was just nice to see familiar faces. You know what I mean? Like, on our end, B and I helped as much as possible in any way possible we could. If someone needed help somewhere, by all means, we did everything we could to be as available as possible. We were very proud to be a part of the machine in any way we could. The family at GCW, especially Lauderdale, treated us right throughout that whole week and into the weekend. I met a lot of new people I've been waiting to meet for a while. You know, I had future Joey, Skittle, yes, Matt Baruso, Chad Mins, speaking again with John Ash and Ivan from Fire J Media, who I really think is the best at his job. He killed it all weekend with the graphics. There were several Twitter people. I miss seeing Big Vin for more than maybe just like a handshake. I really wanted to tell him about, you know, watching his dad wrestle back in the day, like, you know, old man talk. What about you guys? Did you, either of you bump into some people that you've kind of been waiting to see for a while?
I'll let B go first.
I'm about to say, yeah, it was nice catching up with Ivan again. Man, yeah, I ran into a lot of new people, and it was as you said, it was just kind of crazy, busy weekend, running into a lot of faces. And yeah, Ivan was the big one. It was nice to talk to, and talk to Big Vin a little bit outside. Obviously, got to talk to a returning Jordan later on in the weekend, but yeah, it was a very, very fun and social weekend. That's for sure.
Yeah, I actually had lunch with Jordan Castle after Pandemonium Pro. So, like, it was really fun getting to catch up with him.
I have nothing but nice things to say about Jordan.
And I got to point out some relevance to the Macho Man Randy Savage quote. Grap House does a bit where ring announcer Marco Arriaga, if I can say that pretty fast, does a Macho Man impersonation every show. They announced they had a couple of sponsors / commentator Dino Marks and a gear maker, his girlfriend Chelsea, and Doug did the Macho Man, I love you. I can't really do a good macho voice, especially now. And then fucking proposed. It was
nice.
That was the moment that weekend that nearly brought me to tears. And going back to Community, it was so awesome that a moment like that happened. Congratulations, Doug. Congratulations, Chelsea.
Yes, very much so. Congratulations.
Damn, I'm already almost tearing up right now, and I haven't even gotten to what I really want to get off my chest.
Well, I mean, we could kind of just let you pop off and kind of do your thing and just enjoy yourself, because I'd rather you kind of get out whatever you want to say and feel better about it in the long run. So then we
Yeah.
can kind of settle in on whatever else you want after that, man.
Yeah, basically, I'm wearing the Speedball Mike Bailey shirt because I wanted to touch on what we have collectively decided to call the Speedball Mike Bailey Award. If you don't know, Speedball Mike Bailey for the past few WrestleMania weekends always topped the highest amount of performances throughout the weekend wherever he went, whether it was the collective, whether it was outsiders, doesn't matter. He always logged the most matches. This year, he is now signed, and he was not able to wrestle in the country during the time a lot of these cards were put together, so he did not have a presence this weekend. So, what I was really intrigued with this year is to see who would step up and take that mantle, and a few people did. And the real reason I wanted to come on this show is shout out the top three because they deserve it, and like they need to hear this, and I think Brett needs to hear this. So we'll start with number three, and actually, I believe it was actually tied for number two. We'll start with the most relevant person to the collective here. That would be Masha Slamovich, who I believe had 11 bookings. Masha, I actually consider to be the true successor to Speedball Mike Bailey, as the TNA rep that doesn't have to go so hard every Mania weekend and take every booking they can, but does anyway. What makes Masha's Mania weekend interesting is that she was only scheduled for about 8, but ended up with 11 when the dust was settled. When shows ran long or started late or had technical issues, some wrestlers had to drop bookings, and sometimes they were people that were big parts of the machine of these shows. It was largely no one's fault. Things happen, especially with a lot of promoters never having to do projects like this before. But sometimes when these promotions needed a star to save the day, it was Masha. She doesn't have to do this at this point in her career. She doesn't have to come to GCW and wrestle all these hard-hitting matches, filling her bump card and wrecking her body when she could be making so much more money later on. Um, she's the TNA Knockouts champion and will likely parlay whatever she does now into a huge WWE run when her contract ends. She can sit home and collect those TNA checks. She does this for the love of the game, and that work ethic is why she is where she is, and why she will go the places she will go. That is why she is a former GCW World Champion, and why she is the JCW Champion for a year and change with no signs of dropping that title. That's why she pretty much has a WWE spot when her contract is up. I consider her the yardstick of GCW and the yardstick of the Indies. And in this metric, I don't think anyone measured up to her at the collective. Keywords there, though, at the collective. I believe Fuego del Sol said this on this podcast a few weeks ago, that if you are the best wrestler in a locker room, you should leave that locker room. Fuego del Sol has left the GCW locker room this weekend, and he's not the only one. Sawyer Wreck, Casey Catal, Brandon Kirk, Sandra Moon, Fuego del Sol, and even Sabu have all left the GCW locker room in the past few months or are planning to do so, but not in that context. They have all retired from the business or are in the process of retiring like Sandra is, and are leaving voids that need to be filled, and we need to be looking at the standouts on the indies to replace them. No one in GCW at the collective surpassed the work ethic and hustle that Masha had this weekend, but outside the collective, 2 people did. One even surpassed her. I would go through them individually, but their names are really intertwined with each other, and I need to keep this concise. They headlined Pride Style show that was competing directly with Spring Break and had one of the best matches of the weekend, and I estimate that they stole the show this weekend. I have dropped their names a few times on Game Changer Weekly, and I'm about to do it again, but this time I have some purpose. Their names are the Lucha Ghoul, Sonico, and the Lucha Scumbag, Chris Nasty. If you just watched the collective, you only saw one of those combined 20 plus bookings between the two of them, and it only lasted a minute. But these guys drove their asses all around town through all sorts of traffic, particularly on Friday and Thursday and Friday, going into show after show, busting their asses, only to go back in the car and do it all over again. They can work any style imaginable. Obviously, they specialize in lucha, but GCW that is one of our secondary styles is lucha. They can do tags, trios, battle royals, clusterfucks. And Chris Nasty even did a death match in front of 20 people on a show that started 2 hours late because they couldn't tighten the ring ropes. A lucha guy having to work death match without tight ropes, and he still fucking pulled it off. What is the relevance to the collective? What is the relevance to GCW, you might ask, John? None. And that's the problem. I've seen Chris Nasty at GCW shows at the UCC so many times, and he's still, okay, I've seen him at the UCC show so many times, but always on the sidelines. I can tell you the exact place he watches every show there. Nasty and Sonico are perfect fits for GCW, but they have not really been booked. Sonico has been booked a handful of times. Nasty is waiting for his debut. And when a GCW fan sees the list of busiest performers at Mania Weekend and sees it two guys topped by two guys not at the collective, they should be curious. Maybe even a little miffed that they were not showcased on what is supposed to be the biggest independent shows of the year, when one of them is based in Las Vegas and the other has cut his teeth in this very city. I say we should be rectifying that. I don't know the availability for these guys for the next 2 weeks, but I do know Nasty is based in SoCal and Sonico broke into the business in the Pacific Northwest. GCW's 2 next dates are the UCC on May 3rd and Portland May 4th. That doesn't get any more perfect than that. If GCW is supposed to bring in the top independent wrestlers from the world, they don't have to look far. They can look right under their noses this weekend. I say to Brett Lauderdale, book Chris Nasty in the UCC, book Sonico in Portland. If it can't happen now, they're the first ones you put on those return dates. West Coast correspondent out.
Yeah. Yes.
Mic drop.
Great job.
I actually had mic drop in my notes at one point after that.
No, yes, we got some listeners that agree with you. Stackhouse got to be in the scramble.
Hell yes, Stackhouse. Talent knows talent.
That's how it is. You know what I was gonna say? I told Screwball ahead of time. I said you have something like he's like I want to go off on something. I really want to, and I'm no shit, man. I really didn't think you were going to have like that. Well, you have a very well written, well done set of notes there that was very concise. And you really wrapped it up in the end to a point to where I was listening and then you convinced me. And I'm like, wait a minute, the spirit of GCW is hard work, busting your ass, trying to get through, and succeed, even though, the flat tire comes. And what you're saying here is, as someone who is the West Coast correspondent, you're saying,
exactly.
Listen, there are 2 people who are kind of running over the radar that you're like, damn, you know what? These both need to be seen. And you know what? I'll agree with you 100% there. I would like to see both of those back in GCW. I think
not
they're
back
great
in
representations.
GCW. Chris Nasty is waiting on his debut.
Oh.
So that one was an off-camera scramble.
Oh, I did not know he worked an off-camera scramble, but you know what? Okay.
I think that's who Sam was talking about. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah.
But yeah, if it's on camera, sometimes it doesn't happen.
Yeah. No, and I'll be honest with you. Yeah, you sold me on those 2, and it just makes sense. You laid it out perfectly. Nasty and UCC and Sonico up in Pacific Northwest. It does make sense.
Sonico's actually lives in Vegas now with Sandra Moon.
Yeah.
But it's all the more reason, I'm so glad Jordan Castle actually dropped on air that Sonico was making 12 appearances that weekend. So I'm kind of glad that at least got out to the GCW fan base.
Yep.
Well, the whole point of having someone in a regional area like the West Coast correspondent is the fact that he does have his eyes and his ears on the ground for all of this. And I can tell you right now that if you want to see someone who's a true fan of wrestling, he is one of them. No shit. How many shows did you go to this weekend, dude?
14, I think. I lost count, and holy.
You're still tired, and so are we.
Yeah, there was a reason why I maybe thought I could only go 15 minutes. And be honest, I may just cut in and out for the rest of the show. I may mostly listen because I did not go to a lot of the collective because I wanted to stick with I wanted to put my money on the local scene this year when I am from Las Vegas and I'm going to all these shows. And instead, I watched a lot of these regional promotions make new fans. Like I mentioned Val Pancakes earlier when I asked her like who the standout was, like who her favorite wrestler was out of this weekend. It was fucking Chris Nasty.
Interesting.
I'll be honest, that's like one name I know you keep bringing up. I haven't seen much like of his like in-ring footage and other than clips, but I've heard his name brought up quite a bit, a lot as of late. And so, yeah, I would like to see him. I know he's been showing up at places here and there. And like, it's like, yeah, he's right there close to getting on the card.
If I can push him on there, like what is the West Coast correspondent otherwise?
Frank, I agree with you here, man. I just ramble on my rants out here too. This guy just put a whole thing in and can put it together. I need to take notes on that one.
I'm telling you what, man, it's the best way to keep your thoughts together.
Yeah, like I had something I needed to say and I said it.
Isn't it nice when you take the time to do that though? Because I can tell you right now, just spitting that off the top of your head would not have been so complete. And
yeah,
like
I needed it. Yeah, like that was all written out. I've been working on it like on and off, especially since I stopped work. I got off of work in the last few hours, and I was thinking about all the different ways I could keep GCW mentioned in there. So because I know you were kind of wary of like me possibly going off topic and talking about all the stuff I did at Deadlock or Pride Style or House.
All right, well, I do want to hear. I want to hear about Deadlock. Okay. That was one show I did not go to that I was looking forward to going to, but I ended up going to other stuff too. But I want to hear about Deadlock.
Okay, well, to keep it relevant to GCW, I think my absolute favorite match of the weekend was Violence is Forever versus Grizzled Young Veterans. And you look at the group chat like that we're in, like I posted photos from that match of the bloodstain that Dominic Guarini left on the floor of the meet, only to go and drive out in an open fucking spring break and 2 hours later.
Yeah, I saw that gash on the head too. I was like, yep, that's what Screwball was talking about. What else was on that show?
There was a bit. Okay, so the Deadlock championship was vacated. I don't remember oh, that's right. Jake something is injured. Yes. So they basically had their version of the casino. It's not it's the Casino Gauntlet, the new one that they did, not the Casino whatever it is that they started Double or Nothing with a few years ago, right? But yes, they did their version of the Casino Gauntlet where, staggered entrance, but a pinfall ends the match anytime, but eliminations can also occur by over the top rope. So it was a nice, hour-long match that had all the top stars in the indies. And shout out a regional GCW guy in Adam Priest by winning the thing. Oh, nice. I don't know if I was supposed to spoil that, but it came out.
Spoiler alert. No, that was one company show that I definitely wanted to check out because I've been seeing and hearing good things for sure.
And that Masha opened the show, so that was one of the 11.
Who'd she go against that one?
She was in a tag with Queen Aminata against Magenta.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Queen Aminata. So, does she still have that? No. Who has the Pan-African title right now?
Shug D, who defended it at Ashe against JTG, I believe.
Nice. Damn, dude. That's where he fills in the holes for us, guys, right there.
I mean, there's only been 2 champions, so you can it's easy to keep track of that
one. I forgot to say hello to all the people that came in tonight. So first off, I want to say hello to Alex. It's good to see you in here. Clown, also good to see you in here. Reed Harris Cooper, good to see you in here.
Nice to see this channel still works.
Yeah, it's good to see that everything still works over here on this side. James Noter, nice to see you, sir. Welcome in here tonight. Yep, there's our East Coast correspondent, Frankie. What the fuck, guys? You said you'd meet up in how? Yeah, he's on Route 9 or Route 9 down there right now. He said that he was going to pick up a couple things at Game Changer World when he gets a chance. What else do we have here? John, welcome. I swear that's not me. And then Future Joey, sir. Damn nice meeting you.
Same, yep. I'm about to say that sounds about right since Wednesday night. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I wanted to make sure we had a couple hundred in here real quick, but I wanted to see, Screwball, if you had a couple minutes, maybe just go over Big Gay Brunch with us a little, because I think you were there live.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I gotta cut in here. Stackhouse, damn you for doing that.
I heard that song 3 times this week.
Oh my God, Baruso tweeted that out right before the show, and I swear to God, I was humming it walking into here. I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna kill Baruso now. I'm gonna kill you, Stackhouse.
I do want to shout out Becca a little bit because we talk about like all the things that people should do on social media to keep their character going, and no one has done it like Becca has. She was out for a year with whatever the fuck. It's not public why she went away from the business, and I obviously won't speculate on that. It's not appropriate. But what she did in the meantime was all this character work. She parodied crash outs of various celebrities, and then went ahead and recorded a fucking single to use as her entrance music. And she sings it to the ring multiple times this weekend. Again, that's the Masha Slamovich work ethic that we need out of our wrestlers. And that's the work ethic that John's always harping on about. So even if you don't maybe care for the act, she's doing the work that needs to be done.
And I said hello to everybody but Sam Stackhouse. And I just want to say, Sam, I missed you. I knew you had to go home early, but my goodness, what a wonderful, wonderful guy. Every time I have a chance to say hi, get a hug, anything, love you, Sam. You're one of my favorites, brother.
Yeah, what else, Screwball? Anything else WrestleMania Collective weekend?
Well, and it was also what I came in during the second match of Progress, but like that show was kind of like I'm not gonna shit on her or anything, but like I was already kind of getting gassed at that point. But Suzuki versus Cara Noir was freaking good, and like one of the people I really did want to get a photo with and did was Cara Noir. So
nice.
High point of the weekend after a long day on that midnight slot.
Incredible performer, and what I mean by that is even in the facials, it's just all there. Uses the full body for expression also. So I want to say those two things about Cara Noir. That's what really struck me this weekend. And don't know if anybody else had any opinions in chat or whatnot, but yeah, everybody was so worried about that spot with Effie that one time. But let me tell you, there's way more to Cara, and I'm a big fan of art in the arts, and I'm also a big fan of storylines. And for some reason, I feel like Cara is probably highly what's a good word for it? Sorry, guys.
I mean, there's a lot of different adjectives.
I'm not trying to get much word.
Creative.
Yeah, there's a lot out there.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. Creative was the word I was looking for. You could just see they oozed with creativity, and you have to respect that.
I was hoping he would at least bring out an egg, but I guess the cost of eggs has risen in the last few months. So even if Suzuki just takes it and like breaks it with his hand, I would have loved to have seen that.
Just a tease of it would have been nice. Yep. Just to see Suzuki's reaction, like what the fuck?
I mean, Suzuki. I mean, I did not get to see this, but I will be going back for Suzuki versus Yoshihiko. Yoshihiko, another one of the guys that he didn't quite qualify for like the list that PW Ponderings was putting out, but Yoshihiko had 6 bookings, and that's kind of an incredible thing to do. I also witnessed Yoshihiko in a tag match for the first time at the triple shot after brunch, and Yoshihiko in a tag hits different.
Yoshihiko versus Suzuki was definitely a highlight of the weekend. Yeah, I agree with you, Reed. Suzuki had a fun weekend. Like, I don't like the most random matches. Suzuki definitely took that one for the weekend.
And shout out Yoshihiko. After that match, they wrestled the rest of the weekend with a bandage on.
Didn't see that.
Yeah, because I was at the next 2 bookings for Yoshihiko. They did a pre-show match at Pride Style with a lot of our local guys. So a lot of guys like Ricky Tenacious, Kid Isaac, all got to share the ring with Yoshihiko, which as a fan of the Vegas local scene was so validating to see some of these underrated people like get to share the ring with a performer like Yoshihiko. And then Yoshihiko goes and makes a surprise appearance at Grap House answering Gregory Sharp's open challenge, another one of our unsung heroes in the Vegas local scene.
I must say, I do have to check that match out now. And what was the first match? Oh, there was another name.
All right, so you're talking about the Pride Style pre-show?
Yeah.
Okay, So I had to because like it was kind of an unadvertised thing, like the participants were. It's hard for me because I have to go off memory, and the shows are not going to be up for a little bit. I do know Kid Isaac was the referee. Ricky Tenacious,
Tenacious, that's who it was. Tenacious and Yoshika would be awesome to see.
Shout out to Tenacious, who may have broken the record for most individual appearances in one day on a Mania weekend. I believe they calculated he had 7 on Friday. Granted, his gimmick kind of lends itself to being able to make those kind of short, those kind of, you can go ahead and do his match in 10 minutes and have enough gas for another 6 or 7 of them that day. But still, that's an incredible accomplishment. If that is the case, we do need statisticians to just to kind of verify that. But he may have done that.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Trey Suzuki was wild too, definitely for sure.
Okay, so then I'm kind of wondering if you have a little time. I was going to ask you a little bit about Big Gay Brunch.
Yes.
I was going to kind of just go through the matches quickly. The Gay Supper 6-way scramble match. You had, again, getting ready to retire, Sandra Moon, Anton Voorhees, Brooke Havoc, Jay Vidal, Jamie Senegal, and Vipers. Any thoughts on that match?
Before we get to that, obviously I could do an entire podcast on Sandra Moon's importance to the Vegas scene and how it affected this weekend. But I have notes on that. But just know that if you erase Sandra from existence, the amount of shows that would have been presented this week would easily have halved. Like, that is the kind of legacy that I think is kind of like the legacy that she will leave behind, is how much healthier the Las Vegas scene is for having her around. But, I'm not going to say goodbye yet because it's not over yet. July 26th, Grap House. She will be ending her career against her brother Lazarus in the main event of that show. Come check it out. There's the cheap plug. I will move on to the show now. First impression on this gauntlet was actually Brooke Havoc and Becca. I don't know if I got kind of why these two were kind of mixed together and why Becca just wasn't like in the match. It was just kind of weird because Brooke Havoc's the emo, the mosh pit mommy, and Becca is in the pop realm. I did not quite get the mixing of that. I don't know if it was mentioned on commentary why this was happening.
I was gonna say, have you watched the show back?
I have only checked out a couple things on the cluster. I mostly did want to verify, that Jordan Castle did drop Sonico's record, but yeah, I actually did listen to Becca's entrance at the clusterfuck, mostly because I wasn't sure if she was lip syncing or not. But if you watch the clusterfuck, she was very much singing that. But yeah, going back to the scramble, Val Pancakes actually pointed out something to me about the overall show that was that when I heard it drop, kind of brought my jaw to the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Effie is usually good about promoting women on his shows, but I believe the totals, there were only about like 6 or 8 at most women on the show compared to the amount of mostly mask or mostly male. Like, I got to watch the pronouns here. That this is very important on a show like this. But the overall femme presentation on this show was very low in comparison to others. Like, I believe the 10-person tag, excuse me, the 10-person tag was like almost entirely masculine performers, even if I know some of them are very much non-binary. So it was kind of an interesting observation that she had made.
I really can't say much about it because number one, I was working the whole time and didn't have a chance to see the show. And number two, I'm probably the last one to speak on others' representation.
I'm probably the closest thing that can as an asexual,
Correct.
But even then, yes. And even then, like, I have to be careful myself. Like, but definitely would love to see more women, more feminine, more non-binaries on Big Gay Brunch 11, assuming it's in the cards. But this match had a lot of them though. So, and they all kicked ass.
Aaron Rourke and Rico Gonzalez. Anything from that one?
Two hard workers. Rico is still kind of making his way up. Aaron Rourke, WWID, fucking deserves it. Like it's hard. Like at this point, I'm like 11 shows in, and as much as important as
Yeah.
Big Gay Brunch is to me on a personal level, I can only keep my attention for so long. But yeah. But at the same time, like they killed it.
Okay, so I'll tell you, my embarrassment is that we love Effie, Effie loves us, and I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it yet, and here I am on technically, truly a surprise show. So
Mhm.
I want to also say hello, Scott. Scott's in one of the best seats
Scott.
in the house. Scott has
working
Yeah.
hard all
Shout out
weekend,
Scott.
man.
I saw him like very briefly from the 200s at the clusterfuck, and yeah, like GCW ring crew always works hard. Like
Oh my goodness, yes.
yeah,
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
running around all weekend, that's for sure.
And also like when we go to LA and stuff, like I
Yeah.
always try to have a little look out, see like is Scott here? I'm like, okay, I know
and Scott's one of
that
those guys
person,
that
you know?
tries to keep his body out of people's sight lines, and it's like that definitely goes noticed by someone that's
That's how
in
it
those
should be.
seats.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
So Scott, if you needed to pick me up, just wanted to let you know from all three of us here, much love by far.
I was gonna ask what it Zack Sabre Jr., Kid Bandit.
Kid
Ooh.
Bandit, another fucking standout, but luckily we got to see a lot of her at the collective. Can't be happy enough that she is back and picking up right where she left off. I don't know if you saw this, but Kenny Omega on his stream yesterday gave her the props, and I could not be happier for her.
Yeah, I heard those things too. And yes, it was kind of cool. Kid getting the moment from Kenny Omega. That's definitely after hearing those comments and having this match against Zack Sabre Jr. It's amazing for Kid on the return.
I wanted to make sure that got in there too.
Yes, like I'm all about uplifting people on this show. I said that in the group chat. Like we need to give people their
Yes.
flowers while they're here and doing the hard work. Like this is what this podcast should be for.
Oh, absolutely. From camera people through to production, through to commentary. I mean, referees. Everyone is a working cog in that machine. And if one of them goes down, it creates problems for three others. And until this past week, I had no idea how many intricacies could really be there. I had an idea.
Yeah,
but
you were helping out this week. I
Yes.
don't know if you want to pull the curtain back. That's your decision. But like, we saw in the group chat like how you were helping make the collective happen.
Yeah, I just
shit.
did whatever I was asked. That's it. That's
right,
the best
there
way
you
I
go.
can do it.
That's yep.
You know what I mean? If someone said, John, do this, go do that. And, it's not, I mean, that's, the important and the unimportant are just as important as long as they get done for the show. So, that's something I wanted to mention before we went further, dude. Production was solid. Like, all around.
Oh my goodness, yes. I love that. Like everything came clear on that video. I was worried about how like the clarity would be, but man, that was crazy. And the sound was amazing all weekend too. That was like one thing I always worry about with the wrestling shows. I like hearing the sound, but man, that theater was a very good acoustic theater, and I thought it was a good venue for wrestling too. That was my first time there, and it was very solid for sure.
Yeah, I got to experience it last year when TNA did the revival here, and yeah, it was a little bit ballsy on the part of Brett to book such a large venue when only a couple of shows could really sell it out. But I get the venue looked good regardless of how many fans were there. So, I'm kind of the opinion that all the people like tweeting ticket numbers and such, but are kind of just nitpicking, and that stuff really doesn't matter. It matters that like the stuff that really matters. It's all like tribalism stuff, really. It's like, I just care that the show is good. And if they can make it look like there's 1,500 people when there's 500, let's sell those additional tickets for the two shows that are capable of reaching capacity for this and make that money.
Also, I want to tell people, I do see people sometimes come alone. At one point, I would come alone to some shows, but then I'm like, hey, come with me. And then I ask another person. And I'm just saying, you ask 2, 3, 4 people, one of them will become your friend at travel buddies to shows too. And I'm not going to lie. I'll tell everybody this now. This is kind of interesting, and this is full circle. I've actually never said this before, but when I first got into the independent local scene here, Screwball was one of the first people that I had went over and talked to and met. Mainly because both of us were big enough fans that we were always there first, or one of the first in line constantly. If he was there, you know, I was going to be a couple behind him, or vice versa. It was not, you know. So one time I'm like, you know, I just see him standing there. I'm like, I'm gonna go over there and say hi, because he's not chewing furniture, he's not peeing on anything. He's not crazy. So I'm like, all right, we could talk for a minute or so. And you were cool as hell, man. So
like one of the highlights for me this weekend was actually getting to share the local scene with my friends, particularly Val. Just couldn't quite make it out to some of the shows. I don't think I mentioned her Twitter earlier. It's at Peggy Hill Feet, which is kind of funny, but like I did get to at least get her out Wednesday night to Big Valley versus WGW. So because they both wanted to do a local Vegas show because they wanted to see the wrestlers they can't see out in the Midwest. And since you mentioned that, like getting to share my scene with my friends from out of town was so special, and I'm so glad I got to do it. So we'll get back to Big Gay Brunch
now. Before I do that, I wanted to talk about this venue for a minute. I didn't want to go too far away because I did a little. Anybody who's listened to me knows I'm big on sound. I don't know if anyone noticed, but if you turn to your left or right, if you looked across the arena, or we'll say the venue, it was sometimes hard to hear the cheers of the people that were, you normally would feel you would hear those cheers very well. That was also noticed from a couple other different people too.
So I think that kind of goes to the capacity where I don't know. You know, sometimes 500 people in a spot for 1,500.
Yes.
It's hard to get that mic'd properly. I think what they really should have done was closed off the upper bowl for the shows that were not Bloodsport or Spring Break. But that's here nor there. But yeah, if that's maybe that's what needed to happen.
Yeah. I noticed at times I couldn't hear what other fans were cheering. And I definitely wanted to get involved. So I'm like, okay, I stopped and I'd listen for a second and be like, okay, they're chanting, fuck that guy. All right, then, fuck that guy. That's how I kind of, you know what I mean? I was kind of figuring out what it was. But I felt like, again, it could be the venue, it could be the amount of people or whatnot. But
yeah, in my case, like I pretty much did the collective at when a lot of fans were already gassed at that point. So I can't speak for what Spring Break was like. I can't speak for even what Defy was when it was, or Bloodsport when, you know, like the fans were at their first shows.
Well, I had to do this. I had to do some research because I know that we are in one of the state-of-the-art venues for sound. That literally is one of the premier places. If you wanted to put a concert on there and record the concert for you know, a record or whatever, that venue is actually built for that. That venue is connected to a recording studio in another building, and you can run a recording straight off of the microphones to that recording studio, and it was meant to be that way. So there was a ton of money put into this studio to make sure that the sound, the venue, to make sure the sound was perfect. Now, there is a little bit of a sound dampening that goes on, and here's why I'll tell you. 25,000 square feet of 1-inch thick tectum, Tectum, was put into this building so that they could blast sound at it and it wouldn't reverb back. So it's basically soundproofing. The only other soundproofing in the building are actually the seats, or if humans are there, sometimes they soundproof a little. But I just wanted to look that up because some of these newer buildings now, they are made to project sound outwards and then chew up any reverb that could possibly bounce from the back wall back. So if fans are yelling from the back forward, that will not carry 10 to 20% as much as it normally would have. And the only reason I looked this up was because I'm like, wait a minute, they're this far away, they should be this loud. And that's different for me. And so maybe I'm down a rabbit hole for the 19th time that maybe went too far.
Hey, this is the stuff that no other podcast is going to mention. So let's do it.
True. Well, we were talking about production. I wanted to say great job by Ash and GPW. They did a great job. It was really cool listening to all like the favorite wrestlers' musics loud as fuck. You know, it's like it's nice to hear Effie's music like blasted across the loudspeakers. Like the UCC is beautiful. I'm sure the terminal sound is beautiful, but that was a sound system, and it was cool to just hear Elton John pump through the place.
It definitely helped for some of those clusterfuck entrants, like when you need that instant pop, even if everyone was tired and dehydrated at that point.
Oh yeah. Also,
I will say this.
Got their. What's that? Sorry, buddy.
Spider Nate Webb. I guess I don't know if we want to go. Do we want to go to the clusterfuck later? Like I think I'm kind of opening that can of worms early. Let's stick to
I was gonna do Big Gay Brunch with you, and then we'll see where we go from there. Because once we approach,
let's go back to Big Gay Brunch. I don't want to get too far without that.
Alrighty here. Okay, so we talked about. I have a question for you. I am a fan of meat. That 4-way match: Pero, Brick Savage, Max the Impaler, Richard Holiday. How did that one come across?
First of all, Richard Holiday. That's cheap heat, but it's fucking excellent cheap heat. Charles Mason pulled a similar thing in LA a couple of years ago, but man, being the straight on the Big Gay Brunch, that shit rolls. Also, but yes, the other three performers, the beasts in the match, Brick Savage, Max the Impaler. Gotta watch the pronouns; they're both they thems. Pero, of course, has his spot in GCW for a reason. The fact that he can right now weave from face to heel without a turn, without anything, and it all makes sense. He was face here, heel later in the clusterfuck. And just a tremendous guy, like, oh my God, like Pero, another guy that I'm so glad that he has a spot in GCW. There's a reason, like, he's where he's at.
I got scared that they would kind of stop using Pero too after the whole Holiday Mason stuff. So it is
instead they're furthering it, and I think it's great.
Yeah, I like it. I'm liking anything Pero does. I've been enjoying so far.
Dude, in the clusterfuck, I'm not going to jump too far ahead because we're not going to go crazy on it anyway. But I was cheering the fuck out of Pero. I was like, keep crushing, dude. Keep going. Like, be the beast. Show people the beast that you are. And it was just clear this one, clear that one. And I'm like, you know what? My guy is doing it. I was cool with that. I was really cool to see my guy like go out there and just fucking push weight. And yeah, that was nice to see for sure.
Carried a lot of the clusterfuck, just like last year too. I think last year, like Pero and Manders, we said carried it.
Rena was the Iron Man, but Pero was, from what I understand, he was both. Pero was very instrumental in like the aging of the match last year. I don't know if that was the case this year, but fuck yeah, Pero. That finishing move is awesome. Both he and Calvin Tankman do the reverse pile driver so well. Or the Rikishi driver, or whatever it is.
Rikishi driver, yep. Abaddon versus Sunny Kiss.
Ooh, how was that treat?
I heard Sunny Kiss showed out for sure.
Yeah, Sunny Kiss, another person that's kind of getting back in the swing of things after taking a little bit of absence, particularly when it comes to her gender transition. So it's nice to see the full femme Sunny Kiss you reestablish herself in a position of prominence on the indies. Abaddon, a person that's kind of on maybe, I don't know, I don't want to call it a downswing, but no long cutting ties with AEW and now going on their own. They needed a performance like this to let people know that they're around and kicking ass, and they killed it.
Yeah, I heard that was kind of like one of the best matches of Big Gay Brunch. And then, the main event for the GCW.
Whoa. There's a match that we have missed. The 10-person tag.
Oh, yep. Sorry, go ahead.
Because I have more flowers to give. Fucking Papa Yase. He should have been on Big Gay Brunches like 2 or 3 times already by now. But it's nice to see him make his debut as the team captain. I know he wanted a singles match, but I think being the team captain of the rookie squad against the Big Gay Brunch veterans was a very fitting spot for him. I know he did not come away from that match unscathed. If you look at his social media, he chipped some teeth.
Oh no.
And speaking of teeth, on the other side, we have another Vegas standout who now is based in the Midwest, Count Adriel Noctis. I love the fact that him and Papa got to work together and kind of show what we know in Vegas is what's going on in Vegas. That these two guys, the two products of our scene, are repping out Big Gay Brunch like this. And of course, he was doing a lot of biting. I thought it was funny that a vampire was doing a lot of bite spots.
Makes sense for sure.
Papa's no joke. I'll say
Yes.
that, and you can quote me right there. When it comes to Las Vegas, that's a big one that can make it happen right there. Multiple time champion, also mad
Yes.
respect from Las Vegas locals here on Papa for sure.
Yeah, I had to make sure I got the flowers for Papa because it's been a long time coming. Like, I know he was in LA a few years ago and he only got Circle 6 bookings. And I was like, this is one of the best guys that's never worked for GCW, never worked for the collective. So I was so fucking glad to see him get it this year.
Yeah, when I saw his name announced, I was happy for him too. All right, now I'll go to the main event.
Oh, Stephen Crow, yeah, another great guy that got a few bookings locally, but I won't harp on that too much. Got to wear his hat after the show, so you can find all the social media pictures.
All right, now we'll go to the main event. Effie defending the GCW World Title against Dark Sheik.
One of my another like when people were asking, like Gabe Sapolsky asked, like, what were your top matches of the collective? I had 4 graphics ready, and one of them was Effie versus Dark Sheik, and possibly the most important match of the weekend when you look at today's political climate. Like, everything those two said after the show in that post-match promo, it was just as important as what they did in the ring.
Also, I'll just same thing. I did see the promos at the end. Hats off for sure. What else we have? Yeah, Clown said I was hoping Sheik would have won. I'll tell you what, this would have been one of the closest, if any, because Sheik has done nothing but climb. Nothing but trajectory like this.
And I will say this, I think a lot of what Effie did in the first part of his run has actually led up to this. He was doing a lot of defenses against locals in like these out-of-town promotions. And guess what? Where does Dark Sheik live? Las Vegas.
Yep.
And so even though like she's probably not who you consider like your typical Las Vegas local, she's got more of a connection with the NorCal scene with Hood Slam. But you got to point that out. If he's going around the country finding people for brunch, that's how we got Stephen Crow on this show. He worked Vegas at Grap House in the lead up to this. I know a lot of the people on the show were people he wrestled on those matches. So everything kind of led up to this.
And I know we have a lot of new listeners that'll come in off and on. Definitely check out some of these companies you hear Screwball talking about because Dark Sheik runs a fantastic company up there, and there are stars just under the radar that go watch them. Stoner Bros.
I could drop the names of Johnny Robbie, like
Vipress.
Oh my God, Nick Xander, all Vipress, these talents. Yeah. Oh my God, Jin Savani, like Dmitry Alexandrov got a lot of bookings this week. Like I want to go through every fucking name in the local scene, but we don't got time for that. Ricky, I was glad I got to mention Ricky Tenacious and the work he put in as a character this week. Oh my God, and this is what the West Coast correspondent should be doing.
Well, yeah, like I said, you're on the ground, the peak for other independent fans to see what's going on, because not everything reaches IWTV. Not everything reaches Triller. And unless someone tells you, you're not maybe going to find the YouTube link. So, this is old school. This is one of your friends sitting down with you telling you, dude, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this?
I got to be that friend to a few people. And now it's like I've made more Vegas family, extended Vegas family. Like it's just so cool that I got to really do this.
What's up, TJ?
We appreciate you coming on and giving us all that stuff. Like you said, there's a lot of shows we did miss, and wanted to hear about it from people experiencing it firsthand for sure.
And there you go. For those who celebrate, forgot to say Happy Easter out there.
Happy Easter.
We're all probably full of candy, and the smart ones waited till after Easter to get the 50% off candy. So hopefully you're full.
And
of
course,
also.
when we get to the clusterfuck, there's a big Las Vegas local we got to talk about.
It's how do you want to do this, B? What do you want to talk about?
Do we want to maybe I'll touch a little bit on one of the issues I had with the collective was that Big Gay Brunch and the Triple Shot should not have been scheduled 3 hours from each other. There was no chance in hell that show was starting on time. That was easily avoidable. And the fact that I was at the merch table wondering, like, what should I do? Should I try to go see when the show's starting? Because you can't really re-enter the Palms Theater once you've been in there, and the merch tables were quite a bit away. So it would have been nice to have more communication that, hey, we're delaying the show 30 minutes to the people that are at the merch tables. Like that's, I know it's nitpicking, but if you want some constructive criticism, here you go.
Okay. We'll talk about merch for a second if we want to do criticism, but I will, okay. So we'll just do this. Okay. So merch being away from the Pearl, I feel like that wasn't easy for everyone to find.
I know. It's understandable why they did it. Like, I think if I was running the collective, I would have done the same thing, given that you have to re-enter the Palms. You can't use the lobby space because of that.
Well, this is interesting. Publicly, Effie shared the reason why they had to move the merch from outside the Pearl.
Okay.
They had to move the merch from outside the Pearl because the Pearl wanted 40% of all sales. Which would have meant that every shirt sale would have probably been equal or loss the performer would have sold the shirt and then lost money on it. Like, how does that work? Okay. So, what do you really do in that situation? Because let's be honest, GCW has to work with that. And that's bullshit for the fans, the wrestlers, and the company. When there was a walkthrough and the merch was going to that area, I'm like, there's going to be like a 25% loss here in what could be potential merch sales, just because people may not be able to find. Or
it took me a while after progress. I will give you that, but at the same time, between that factoid and the fact that you have to go through the metal detectors there, I feel like that was probably another reason if they weren't entirely honest with that. But I knew that we're not going to be able to use that space just for that reason alone, and I think that was probably the best decision they could have made.
100%. That was the best you can do. Also, let's just say you put it right outside of there. Everything's going to smell like cigarette smoke.
No, you can't run it in a casino. That. There's no space for that in the casino.
Yeah.
That's a no-go.
Yeah. It's just, but I will say something about the Green Street little area there. Awesome place. I love the old arcade machines.
I love that you had to go into a safe a fucking literal safe to go in there. It was, if you couldn't get anywhere near the venue, at least it was there.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to say, I asked one question I knew the answer to of someone, and they said yes. I said, the ring is squeaky. Is that FSW's ring? And they said,
I knew that.
Yes.
I knew exactly what ring it was. It's the old ring, not the new one that they bought a couple of years ago. It was the old ring. I knew exactly what that ring was.
Not happy as a local, not happy, because I'm like, that stinks.
Yeah,
that stinks.
I mean,
granted, when I knew about the squeak.
I will say this: I was surprised there were so many independent shows running at the same time. I was wondering where those rings would come from. Because most, when Grap House, Big Valley, they Grap House, Pride Style, I believe they usually use the Big Valley ring, but that ring can't be two places in once. So I was wondering, and Versus Pro was also running on Friday. Rings came from places, and people got creative. I will just say that.
Yeah, there was a lot of rings in town.
Yeah, there's generally not that many rings in town. I can tell you that right now.
No. Let's see if there's anything else that I wanted to say about what did I say
watching it back live, yeah, it was pretty loud. Watching it back on the TV during the trios lucha match was pretty crazy.
And you figure after years you would fix it.
Well,
For
they
WrestleMania weekend.
I guess FSW bought the new ring for that reason, but I guess
And then sold it for GCW to use.
Yeah, well, they had their own shows to run, so they weren't given the good stuff when they had their own stuff to do.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's talk about some good things here. First things first, it's really always a treat to hear Dave Prazak on the mic, and we got to hear.
Haven't heard it yet, but yeah, I'm sure he killed it as always.
It feels good having that familiar voice pipe through ears,
And we've already shouted out Jordan Castle, but again, what an amazing fucking commentator he has matured into in such a short time. And a fucking great person, too.
100. Oh, yeah.
And I guess now we're going to talk about Veda?
Sure. Let's roll it, man.
Yeah, Veda's another freaking tremendous person that I know had a ton of commentary gigs this weekend. You go back to that clusterfuck show last year where her voice wasn't doing so hot, but she persevered through it. Also got to shout out my very good friend Val Capone, who has been dealing with a lot of health issues in the last couple of years. Started with long COVID, had surgery recently, looked freaking great at when I saw her Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Like, I'm so glad that she seems to be doing better. Another person that I just love so much and have the utmost respect for. One of the kindest people you will find on the indies. Like, Val Capone is the shit.
Been absolutely wonderful to us. My wife talks them off and on. So, yeah, Val also. Awesome.
Yeah, a person that has shown me kindness when she did not have to. I can't say enough good things about Val Capone.
So I wanted to just kind of mention something funny because leave it up to my family to kind of give me a fresh take on things. My son was at the show and he's like, "This is awesome. This is like what it would be if GCW had money." I'm like, this is Triller and GCW money right here. That's the only way they can get the building. But what he was trying to say was this looks like a TV production style GCW.
And they're running where NXT is run. They're running where Impact is run. Like I saw my last show before the pandemic was an NXT house show at the Palms.
Yeah. And that's the TNA hard cam angle too.
Yeah, that's TNA hard to kill. Like they did it exactly the way TNA did it. So they were taking their notes when TNA relaunched last year. So good to see it.
And I think they said there were 72 lights above that ring. It was the TNA light rigging also.
I'm sure, like, I know that heels have eyes. You use a lot of TNA stuff. So I guess, maybe that connection was leveraged there. I mean, TNA was in town on Thursday, but who knows?
Wow. Let's see what else that's worth mentioning. The red seats. No shit. Let's just talk for a second. I'm a sucker for that. It's so nice to sit in a cushy seat where you're not rubbing elbows directly with somebody constantly. And you're also not riding just hardwood like at the UCC. So it was nice to just have cushioning of any kind.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I didn't get to go to the floor on the collective because I bought all my tickets in the 200s because of the Patreon issue.
Yeah.
But that's a rant for another time.
I was a commoner too. I was not on the floor. I was in the first, like right off the floor there. Actually, I'm kind of happy I did that.
I had only done like the second tier for the Patreon, so that's kind of what I was expecting to do anyway going into it. It just sucks that a lot of people that made that like paid the $75 for it couldn't get the chance to do it. But that's another discussion for another time, I suppose.
Another nice thing to mention: a lot of performers worked their biggest house ever. Like period. At the Pearls. So
and actually elsewhere too, like the Swan Dive sold out for the first time at Pride Style, and I was really happy to hear that.
You know what? That's great to hear.
And that's
That international
opposite
crowd.
spring break. That's opposite spring break. So there's so much of this pie available for everyone. There's no need to be tribalistic on the indies. There's
No.
enough. Millhouse, the promoter Pride Cell, even said as much in the lead up to this. There's enough of the pie for everyone.
There really is. We've even thought about that with our podcast. Anytime someone's come along, asked questions, or wanted to talk, or wanted to be, like on, or we're on theirs, we've always done everything we could because we were told from day one, there's really enough room for everyone. And if you're decent, they're going to hear you. Either way. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
The cream of the crop.
Yeah, always.
I don't even know how that came up again, but we'll take it. Also, I want to say, especially in spring break, I really love the new fan smell. A lot of people around me were new to GCW, and it shone like in the chants and
I'm
whatnot.
glad to hear that.
Dude, it was so nice. I'm gonna give some specific examples more in the night when we go through spring break because I was physically there for that one and still, kind of awake.
I want to mostly listen to that because I was not there for spring break, but definitely will be coming back to it when I feel like watching wrestling again.
Yeah, and here I am coming home literally after the shows going, okay, throw it on, try to make notes. I don't think I got more than 4 hours for 5 straight days. I mean, no shit. I'm still in a haze, bro. I'm still working. Collective still hasn't left me yet. I'm still working on it. So, I mean, it's an undertaking. There are people busting ass there that were doing it since Saturday of last week. And I've heard even before, I actually talked to people weeks before that had come in and tried to help out with some small things. So, I mean, that was almost a 3-week endeavor.
Yeah,
Actually,
it really was.
3 weeks.
I mean, once that Philly show on the first Sunday of April ended, like it all started at that point, I assume.
Well, it was. The place was filled though. No kidding. Yeah. When you
Glad
get a
to hear
chance
it.
to watch it, you'll love the fact that it's just filled the way it is. Okay, where did you want to go next, B? Because I wanted you to kind of just keep everything in order for us. What's next on the list that you would like to talk about? Is there anything else on Big Gay Brunch?
I was good on Big Gay Brunch. Screwball, is there any last words you want to have on that one?
Just love seeing all the talent that you don't normally get to see on GCW shows, the talent you don't normally get to see in Las Vegas. FEA, there could have been more femme talent like Bryn Thorne on the show that I know would have loved to have been there. But otherwise, like, I love that he has these deep cuts for us, and he probably did find the cream of the crop everywhere he could. And I look forward to the next ones where I'm sure there will be more talent rotated in that I haven't seen before on the LGBTQIA spectrum. I would especially love to see a more ace representation as an asexual myself. So if Effie wants a little bit of a challenge from someone that was at Big Gay Brunch 1, had big tickets to Big Gay Brunch 1, Tampa, that got canceled for Dude the Collective, there's one for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely go back and check out this Big Gay Brunch. There was the card was stacked. I didn't have time to make it, but I want to go back and see it because I see Abaddon, Max Impaler, Pero, like all the names I want to see because that card was strong, and I definitely want to see the actual match and not just the promo of Sheik and Effie because I heard that one was a spectacle as well.
Yeah.
Screwball, did you go to Bloodsport?
No, I was at Mark Saras. Hell of a deathmatch show, but not a whole lot of relevance I can really bring to it. I've already pretty much mentioned that Chris Nasty at that venue had to work a show with no ring ropes when his specialty is lucha, and he's also crossing into the deathmatch world for maybe the second or third time in his career. I think I obviously don't see what Nasty does outside of Vegas much, but he's kind of new to it and but proving he can work his versatility. So. But if you want to hit Bloodsport now, it's the first GCW show on the weekend. But actually, before we do that, I do want to talk about the night before. I do want to ask a question about ID and Dragon Gate. Do we know why it was moved out of the Moon Room? Because that looked like an incredible venue for wrestling, and I'm kind of sad we did not get to see it.
I have no idea, but I did go to both of them, and both are pretty good. The
Yeah.
WWE show, like I know it got a lot of hate. I didn't mind it for what it was.
Yeah, I
Dragon Gate
think.
being back was
Yeah.
nice, and Skywalker was something else that night. But I
Yeah.
thought those were two pretty good shows, though.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's probably maybe it was just easier to so people they didn't have to move the ring from the penthouse to Pearl Theater. It's easier to keep everything in one spot. I suspect that's the reason, but still, I would love to see the Moon Room revisited when we can start getting some GCW shows in Vegas on the road when it's not just Attack on Weekend. Hint, hint.
uh, let's see here. Reed Harris Cooper. There we go. Full of the two trans, one in the main event for the promotions title, and the other featuring a worldwide talent like Zap.
Oh
Shaders,
no,
finishing up the
definitely
board.
not erasing what did happen. It's like when my friend that is very much involved in LGBTQ wrestling as a fan is pointing this out to me. I felt it was kind of necessary to bring it to this platform, even if otherwise, like and Effie's usually good about this. So I just felt like it was something that I wanted to at least bring to the discussion, good or otherwise.
Hmm. Okay, so we covered Big Gay Brunch. We covered that. Was there anything else you wanted to cover with Screwball before we get into our 8-hour?
Yeah, like the next really relevant show we'll get into is Clusterfuck. So, but we might as well go in order.
Oh, we were gonna hit every show. We're not hitting every show. Like we're doing
Yeah.
Bloodsport now, and then we're gonna do Spring Break and Clusterfuck.
Yeah, and that's how I wanted it. I don't want to be here for 7 hours, and I kind of want to also get the GCW branded stuff. It's the emphasis here, and we can just like hit like minor points on the in between shows. Maybe it's like the transition.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see here. Hold up. Let me get my notes. My phone died.
Do you
Just
have
plug
one
it
that
in.
you'd like to do first, B?
Just Bloodsport, I guess, real fast.
Yeah,
and
because
then-
we were just basically gonna have
Yeah.
Screwball do Big
And that's
Gay
how,
Brunch,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then-
You even told me as such in the DMs, and it's like I completely agree. Like, you guys the last year did every show, but it was like to the point you might as well not have. Like, I think this is the better way of doing it.
Yeah, for
Oh, yeah.
sure.
And it's like I don't know what we're doing next week. If there's like space from whatever we're doing next week, maybe we can talk about some of those smaller shows when we probably actually watch them.
Oh, and Dave Prazak says the Wednesday shows
Oh.
were moved because the elevator was too small. Thank you so much, Dave. Also, Dave, good to see you on
Yeah.
again.
Yes.
You just missed a bunch of nice words. We had a lot of nice things to say about you. So,
Yeah, it's just I was kind of looking forward to the Moon Room. It looked like it was really awesome in the pictures, but it is what it is. If you can't get the ring in the elevator, get it in the where you can.
heck yeah. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Screwball, I'm going to sit you into the green room for just a couple minutes here. I'm going to have me and Brant just for a moment, just talk about a couple things, and I'm going to bring you right back in. Is that okay?
Okay. Yep. That's kind of how I wanted to do it anyway. It gives me a chance to relax.
Let's do that. And by the way, is there a way maybe you want to? Yeah, we'll bring you back.
I mean, if I want to communicate, like we still have this
Yes.
chat that only the three of us can see.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, Brant, can you make sure you keep that up just in case I don't see
Yep.
it? I really am operating on like little sleep.
No,
I'm
you're
still
good.
repairing over the weekend here. Okay, I'll see you just a couple minutes, Screwball. Me and B are going to talk here for a minute to everyone. Okay. Heart rate is through the roof. Okay. How do we want to do it here? So we didn't have Body Slam because we had left there. What now? That would be 2 weeks now.
Yep.
Kind of a terrible time to leave because we had the collective situation coming up, but
real fast too, I do want to shout
Yeah.
out big thank you, Cass, for the opportunity. Body Slam, everyone we worked with there. It was awesome. The opportunity, the platform to even take over Game Changer Weekly was definitely intense and crazy. And for that year and what we were able to do with Game Changer Weekly, and thanks to Cass for the Body Slam platform, I'm very happy with what we did there, and excited for the new part. But I did definitely wanted to say thank you for Cass and Body Slam team for sure.
So then I want to mention that it's been almost 3 years. This is the first GCW Plant Podcast that we've had. Let me get it going. There you go. First GCW next to the skull with the sunglasses and the GCW hat. It's been almost 3 years since we had started this B&I together. It's always been he and I. It was the Plant Podcast, and then we graduated into Body Slam. It was our first show where we had a live stream going on at the same time. We have always done everything on recording, and we want to say thank you.
Interviews.
First time getting interviews. Everything that you guys had seen was almost our first time live on the air. All we had ever done was talk to each other, press record. That's it. So thank you for hanging in, because we graduated Body Slam. In that time, we had, I believe, 56 shows off the top of my head. 27 of those had guests. I forget how many interviews. I think it's like 20 interviews, 17, somewhere in there. Many of these interviews, I want to say, we're very proud of. We had given many of these individuals, from their words, their best interview, their most in-depth interview, and their longest interview. And that's what we always aimed. We always aimed for that, because we felt there was a large hole in the industry of people not giving independent wrestlers, especially, enough respect for who they are. They just see a wrestler and that's it. They don't talk about their motivations. They don't care to hear where they grew up, where they came from. And, if you're a real fan of this, you are a fan of the individual. And there are many people that have walked into our interviews and walked out of them feeling like they know a lot more about their favorite performer. So, we moved on from Body Slam because, it's pretty fair to say that we are now going to be the official podcast for GCW. So, that's that's amazing. That's where we're at right now. So what we can share is, if you could see our ads down there, it's going to be Game Changer World, and we are currently in process of getting the logo together, getting everything else together. We already, thanks to Ivan, in the middle of Collective Weekend, giving us our new opening that all of you will see here shortly. So I want you to know now, GCW will have a full representative in the podcast category. We're going to do absolutely everything that we can to do exactly what we do now, but a hell of a lot better. I don't want to say the pressure's on, but we have self-imposed pressure because we give a damn. As always, we're fans, and fans first. We're going to do everything we can to promote GCW to the best of our ability. We are still doing the reviews. Those are still going to be completely as honest as possible, and we were encouraged to do so. We were only asked that we don't bring anyone on who could be damaging, and I think that's fair. Anyone who comes on who wants to badmouth, that's kind of counter of what a company podcast would be. Outside of that, though, he gave us the reins. He told us, look, just go do what you do that makes people listen to you. That's it. So this is a fan voice, again, by the fans, for the fans. This is now the third offering that GCW will have on their plate. You will see us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube streaming live. And as of right now...
Sorry to cut you off while you're saying that, because some people are asking, is it going to be this channel, different channel? It's going to be on the official GCW YouTube channel.
Everything will be through there.
Yep. We'll still do it on our Twitters as well, but the big chat, not this channel. This channel is only live for tonight only. After this,
it's going stand.
It is going back in the dust after this. So the name of it will be Game Changer World. We are just waiting for graphics, and Game Changer World will be on the GCW official YouTube channel, and be a podcast on there as well. And it's, as John said, it's going to be, we feel the pressure, but I think it's going to be fun while we're doing it, just like every step of this journey has been. It is kind of cool announcing the official jump to the official YouTube for GCW on the Plant Podcast YouTube channel. I think it's kind of to a full circle moment and read. Calm down. We will be talking about that later, but I keep checking the back of my head. But no, yes, thank you everybody for the kind words. Yeah, we did kind of spoil it earlier with the Twitter name changes. And
My fault.
Twitter bios a little bit, yeah. But it's all good. You didn't know where to officially find us, but yes, it will be on their channel. But thank you so much. And Reed, hopefully that should answer that question.
Yes. So we're waiting for everything to be together. Our first show could be this next Tuesday. It could be the Tuesday after us. I do want you to know, though, in all of this time, this is some of the first time, at least in a year and a half, that he and I had 1 week off. We took 1 week because I was under the weather. Outside of that, we had 51 out of 52 weeks of the year. We made sure that we had a performance, not a performance, but we made sure we had a show. Wow, that's funny. I've said performance and performer so much. But we were always asked to do 1 hour. We averaged a little over 2.5 hours per show. And that's because we love it. We love being here. We love what we do. We literally resurrected this fucking podcast one night stand just because we were halfway through spring break and he and I got a hold of each, we went and met each other and we're like, we need to have a fucking show. Flat out. Both of us were like, I'm fucking inspired. We need to have a show. I miss this shit. I miss talking to my people. Bro, I had so many messages of people losing their crap because, oh my gosh, where are you going to be? Yeah, we're right here. We're putting everything together. We just happen to make something on the busiest week of the year. So graphic designers are now available. We're getting everything together. But everybody has been absolutely wonderful. And we are adopted. I think that's a good way to put it. We are adopted. So thank you so much, everybody. You have no idea. 3 years of hard work is now allowing us to finally meet our main goal. And our main goal was to just do our best and then present that forward and hopefully be able to give that back to the company. So being fair and being honest, we always feel like we're a cottage industry. If that's the way to put it, we're kind of hanging off of GCW for views or everything else because we cover GCW, and if I made a product and a bunch of people had podcasts based on my product, I would consider that a cottage industry also. Well, now all of those listeners and all of those, views will now go directly to the company we're talking about. So now we feel like we're actually feeding directly into and not taking anything away from.
Yep.
Reed Harris Cooper, cottage cheese. Yes, please. I only did fresh cheese orders. Actually, please. Here we go. Okay, we're rhyming fuck faces. All right. Well, anyway, I just wanted to say thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Screwball. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're excited. We've been sitting on this for a minute, and
a month.
now that we can finally announce it, we got pieces moving. Hopefully, it'll be here soon. Be on the channel with the graphics and everything. But please stay tuned to our Twitter channels as of right now, or X, for future updates and when we get the go to, hopefully GCW will be announcing it here as well. But thank you all so much for the kind words. Yes, as we kind of saw Friday night, it was all the nice words there too that we'll get to with everything. It's been kind of a crazy weekend, and all the kind words is always cool to see, and the familiar names and the pictures that we saw of the listeners retweeting us and everything was fucking awesome to see. I'm sorry, that for me that was a very cool part.
And DMs are flying in, guys. I will answer them when we're over. Seriously, love you.
Yes, thank you.
Love you. So another important thing for those who tune in every week.
I'm sending Charles your way.
Another thing that's important, I want everyone to know that per Brett's request right now, we will not be moving the day or the time. We may try an hour earlier here and there if we know it's maybe a thicker show. Maybe that's especially a good way to consider it. Yeah. But otherwise, though, we're same bat time, same bat channel.
Different bat channel.
Oh, shit. Different bat channel. But everything's primarily going to stay the same, except for the fact that we've been adopted, and now all of our efforts are going to be going directly to the company. And we feel, you know what? Yeah, once everything gets off and kicking, I think at some point, you and me need to have a thicker show at some point, right? Maybe just one.
We'll have to have definitely make room for Stackhouse as always.
Yeah, for sure, man. We love him, man. Okay, so where did we want to go next? I'm kind of letting you navigate because honestly, this is an independent show. We're just having fun. The most important part was for me spring break and then this announcement. So we can go through other things since we have Screwball with us, because I think that his specialties lie in places where ours are not right now, because we were just crazy.
So I kind of just wanted to run through Bloodsport, just kind of like how we just did those other shows. And yeah, we could do our kind of normal, quick little review. Well, normal review for the Joey Janela's spring break here. Screwball, you want to hop in here for Bloodsport?
I'll
see here. Sorry, here we go.
Shake your head if you're good.
Gotcha. All right, we got it back.
Yeah, I won't have much to say on the next two shows, but I do know. I'll mention Val Pancakes again is a big Jordan Blade fan, so I know. And she, from what she saw of the Jordan Blade match, she was raving, and that'll probably be my big thing.
Yeah. So let me just pull it up here real fast so I know what the match order was. And so first match was Jordan Blade versus Layla Hirsch. Pretty quick one, unfortunately. I did want to see that one kind of go a little bit longer because of Jordan and Layla. They kind of stylistically had a good matchup there, and that was a good start to Bloodsport and a good way to start the action, especially in Vegas there. Next one was Micah Carmen Petrovic. For me, I was just shocked to see Micah get the win over Carmen for like all the talk about WWID people and WWID people getting all the wins here. I know we'll get there after this one, but this kind of put a lot of shock in people's face. At least for me, it was, and I thought it was left a lot of question marks of how the rest of the night was going to go, because that left it a little bit opening that WWEID was not going to just go undefeated during Bloodsport.
Yeah, that match here, Carmen Petrovic, I was actually happy to see her back, if that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yep.
It's just dangerous, but also has looks. And I remember she stuck out specifically to me because I'm like, oh yeah, there for the looks, like WWE style, you know what I mean? And then I believe a black belt. And then I watched some vicious kicks and shit to go down. And I'm like, you know what? Legit, I'll take it. And any legit fighter, she came back. I'm like, cool, let's do it. Was there anything else?
The striking from Carmen was really good too. That was for me.
Yes. Yeah, by far.
Next match, Charlie Dempsey versus Shinya Aoki. For me, I'm a big Shinya Aoki fan. Pride fights and all the other kind of pancrase stuff that Aoki's good at. Be able to have that match against Charlie Dempsey was cool, and I thought they, for me, kind of got me really into the action. The grappling was good, and Dempsey picks up the victory there, which I didn't really like, but I get it at that point. But for me, that's Shinya Aoki's a legit MMA wrestler and fighter taking that loss, and that one kind of disappointed me, but I get it, and it was a very good way for me to definitely get involved and get Shinya. To see Shinya Aoki was a big deal for me. No one else? Okay.
No, that's why I said for me, it's like,
see,
it was a better Bloodsport than I've seen by far. And I actually found this one very good, but no kidding, I was so tired. I'm like, Karrion Kross Kratos was pretty good. You know what I mean?
That's I didn't really take too many good notes. Yep, I didn't take notes really on this. I'm just kind of recalling off the top of my head. I just want to talk about it a little bit, especially for this next match, Karrion Kross and everything that he did kind of yesterday or today. I forgot what day it was, that promo he cut after WrestleMania. I really enjoyed, because I have been a Karrion/Killer Kross fan for a long ass time, ever since he kind of debuted that character out here. So for me, not getting on WrestleMania, I understand, but a little disappointing. I was happy.
As a Vegas guy, him not being on that show kind of stinks.
Yeah, I'm the same way, but I kind of understand it. At least he was able to pop up and have a little spot there. I knew he would go all out for this blood sport because loves blood sport, and I knew he was very disappointed in not getting a match. So this one was awesome. Kratos is blood sport as well. Like he just is a living embodiment, I think, of blood sport. So this match delivered in my eyes. Karrion Kross, the intensity, he definitely brought it. You could tell he get Kevin's books, folks. He has a book.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I definitely want to read it.
Yeah, it's a very recent release, and
Okay.
yeah, like definitely the guy that's future stars of wrestling named themselves after the idea that they would get guys in the big time, and Karrion Kross is the validation that they need.
So then I want to ask this question right here from James Noter. Would you guys like to see belts? That's with an S. Would you like to see belts in Bloodsport?
So here's my thing. I don't know. That's a tough one. I would like to say yes, but I also feel with no belts being involved, these wins and losses don't matter to me in Bloodsport. So I'm not worried about these WWE NXT people picking up all the wins as long as they're coming in and giving Bloodsport the legitimacy I think it should be given. And then not saying like their name gives it legitimacy, but their style. If you come in and do what Dempsey has done, do what Karrion Kross has done in Bloodsport, and not just kind of come in and use it as a way to kind of showcase anything, I think I don't mind seeing people like not fighting for a belt, just fighting on just pride. And I think that for me kind of doesn't it. I'm split. I don't know. Like I would like to see belts to have wins and losses matter, but in the meantime, because I know all the hate WWID NXT guys are winning in Bloodsport. For me, it doesn't matter because the wins and losses right now don't matter. Just seeing kind of big names or bigger names, but also more legitimate like stars kind of grace Bloodsport to me has been kind of cool because they haven't disrespected it. As I was going to say here, Reed, yeah, I take that back. I did not know that he was legit like his dad. And yeah, I do take that back. And that makes more sense. And I don't mind him winning as much against Aoki because he is pretty legitimate.
Screwball got bit.
It's my first time. Yes.
Family, get him.
Pop this cherry. Let's roll.
All right. Yes. If we have Bloodsport belts, does that logically mean there's more Bloodsport matches or Bloodsport shows? Because I'm not kind of down with the idea of having belts for a show that only happens once or twice a year.
I mean, it's kind of like UFC belts. They only defend those belts.
I guess, yeah. If you're gonna,
so
if you can connect that homage.
For me, I could connect those two and be fine with it. But I understand what you're saying.
I didn't think of that, so that's great.
So, in a perfect world, guys, how many Bloodsport shows should be ran in 1 year?
Quarterly?
I actually had that exact number, dude. 4.
Yeah, it's a nice even number, and 4 is also the number of deaths. So, it's a thing in Japanese culture. Yeah.
Reed said here we have
that
Bloodsport London show. Also, I could see quarterly and or a special place like Bloodsport London, Bloodsport Paris.
Japan.
You know.
Yeah, I kind of have it as its own touring show. Yeah.
Japan was so. Being honest,
the action was so. The pageantry of it makes it feel like a awesome big time spectacle. They definitely connected it that way for sure. But yeah, the in-ring was not so good. And that was even like kind of all of my favorites too. I was so disappointed to say.
Now this would kill it. Jesus, 12 blood sports. Then it's no.
That's funny. That's a good one, dude. Let's see.
Yeah, I think quarterly is a good one because I'll be honest with it. I ain't gonna lie because I do like Bloodsport, and when it's presented like how it kind of was this one and like the Japan one, though when it hits, and I do want to see it. But when it misses, like I'm cool with not seeing it for a couple months because how bad it misses. So I guess for me, it just kind of depends. Now, let's go quarterly and then like maybe build up every other month and see what happens maybe. But I'm cool with quarterly right now. Japan, Bloodsport here, of mixing it up. I definitely like that idea as well.
And one thing's for sure, I don't like it mixing with the GCW regular shows. I think I was not a fan of that experiment.
No, you can't. I don't think you can either. If it's by itself in the certain like arenas that could give it like even if it's like, I think we talked about it before, like I think you, John, mentioned it, kind of like the seating, kind of like you're above the action, you're kind of like you
like a
kind
pit, like a literal pit fight.
Yeah, if you could get like a cool little venue, something like that, that makes the crowd kind of feel more engaged and on top of everything. I like, yeah, Bloodsport Mexico. That okay, Kane versus Josh, calm down. I mean, I just think there's cool little, if it's put in cool little venues, even you don't need the 1,000 people. Just if it's packed with 300 just rabid fans, and it makes it look cool, I think it could be presented really good.
So I'm thinking here. On my side, I would actually like to see one major heavyweight belt. And I'm not against a female belt. I know it's GCW.
If you're doing a heavyweight belt, do you do a featherweight or
okay, so
whatever the equivalent of cruiserweight?
That was the big problem. So the other option is a championship belt, straight up championship, open, you know.
But they don't do intergender in Bloodsport, which is kind of its own issue, yeah, in that regard.
So that would be the
open weight though too, yeah.
I would just I would go women's division, keep it separate, kind of classic like MMA does, if they're trying to keep to that style.
Yeah, I think mirroring MMA is actually a pretty good decision as much as you can. But at the same time, I kind of like that GCW doesn't have like 50 million belts laying around like the majors do. So
yeah.
So
I mean,
or tournaments. I don't mind a tournament.
That's a good idea. Like, I mean,
yes,
a 4-person tournament like how they did before with Lindsay Snow. Like, I mean, I was invested in that one just because, hey, like now this means something, and I was rooting for. I forgot who was in that tournament. I don't think I was rooting for Lindsay Snow, but I mean,
know Lindsay Snow was in it for sure. And,
I think she won it. Even I think she was the debut winner.
You're talking Indianapolis Collective, right? Because I know I was there.
I don't know
what. Yeah,
feels like a long time ago. Yeah. But I mean, I wouldn't mind a tournament, like a quick little 4-person tournament, even. That would be kind of cool.
It sells decent, and it sold decent in Las Vegas comparatively to some of the other shows.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was
the only thing. It was one of the 2 shows that actually, kind of used up a lot of that seating.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's like you have to have it as your own show. I mean, I tried to really watch it and see it for what it was in LA, and I tried to like extrapolate all the positives from it, but I felt like kind of eating my words, but I felt like I was sitting there and the LA fans just don't have that much in them. They started hurling insults and because they're just losing their patience.
It's just not GCW. Yeah.
Right. And that's kind of the thing. So I was trying to look at it as a nice halftime because I don't like screaming my head off for 3 straight hours. I like a 5-minute break or whatever, but,
or screaming
there's a time and a place.
Voice out for like 5 days.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a time and a place, but I don't feel like, I feel Bloodsport should be standalone. If it's going to be called Bloodsport, please put a little blood in it. And I think the guys should step up their sparring just a little bit more to make it look a little more believable. And the last thing, which is tied to James Noder's question, where he's talking about our favorite Bloodsport fights, all of them had to do with like Ciclope Miedo, Speedball.
Bloodsport?
They were matches. Bloodsport, wasn't it that? No, it was Guarini.
No, the Ciclope and Miedo never was Bloodsport.
That's what I want to see. That Bloodsport
got me. Yeah, Guarini and Coup. That's actually my and quote me. That's actually my favorite, and the reason being there was a story.
Yep.
There was a little bit of a struggle. They had to sell something. If 2 men just roll around on the ground, there's nothing to it. But if there's a little something there, give me that wrestling aspect and you will hook the wrestling fans. My favorite match is not the most brutal. It's actually the one that has the most of something for me to bite on and follow.
My favorite one is Speedball versus holy shit.
Mine is Speedball Coda.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but I say that one for me is the best one just because I loved everything they did. Like I think the first couple Bloodsport, there was some action out of the ring, and like there was they were creative with it. I know now they made like a specific rule, like you got to let them in. That could have been there the first one too, but for me, this my second favorite one, Speedball and Akira, like the fucking knockout. Like, I'm sorry, like, even if that's a 70% kick, the way he sold it and it looked and it connected, like that was it for me. Like that, like. I want to see way more of that stuff. As you were saying, John, we said this before, blood and Bloodsport, like you have to got at least one little thing of blood. You got to have, I mean, they did have blood in this one, not saying that, but like I think there should be a little bit more blood, but the striking is what I'm still a little bit disappointed of. The grappling was way better, and at moments the striking was really good in this one. I just feel like there needs to be a little bit more emphasis and a little bit more realism with the sparring, with the striking, because for me, that's just like what's holding me back to being fully in it. But like I popped like I fucking was at a UFC fight when Speedball kicked Akira, but like, and that's what I feel like this blood sport should be for moments like that. Some of these back suplex endings are kind of infuriating to watch after I just seen 20 back suplexes in the match, and then now it ends this one. I don't know. Like I love Bloodsport. I just striking needs to get up to par a little bit for me.
Okay, I'll say something here that I think also needs to be said in regards to the collective and GCW and Las Vegas. I would like to see Micromania have a show at the collective. They do well. They sell well. I mean,
they were running all week, every night in the midnight slot.
I'm about to say, I felt like I saw them on like one of those lists
every day, like from Tuesday to like, they might have run a show Monday. I don't know. Like their schedule is kind of insane. And it's like, I've never really gone to one, but the Nerd is a fun place for wrestling. So it's, if nothing else, like the venue is something reason to check it out, even if I'm not really into the whole little person wrestling.
Oh, no. I don't drink. I want to get drunk and I want to scream and yell like it's WrestleMania. And I want to just give those performers all the adrenaline they can.
Oh, you know what? I have an idea. Like something I did have in my notes that I actually deleted for some reason is looking at the attendance of TJPW versus GCW versus DDT and looking at the ticket prices for Mania. If that trend continues, I think there is a market for running against Mania, and maybe like a smaller venue, and something like Micromania could be the ticket.
I was hoping for some of these deathmatch companies to run a little bit, like run a show during there, because I would definitely.
Murder Mania did run immediately afterwards. I actually thought they kind of chickened out by moving out a little bit later. But yeah, like I kind of agree that like something that's maybe a sideshow that people with the
totally
packages,
different.
People with like the ticket packages don't feel like they have to go to that show for whatever reason, you know, in a smaller venue. It's a discussion to be had as Mania kind of prices itself out to people.
Yep, that is for sure. Sorry, I got off this blood sport here. All right, so yeah, I just love Karrion Kross. I think that's the one we were on. Karrion Kross, Kratos was. I enjoyed it, and Karrion Kross, Killer Kross. I'm gonna stop it now because he's going to Killer Kross. That little promo there at the end when he said Killer Kross, I like that.
He also went as Killer Kross at the Chris Bay tribute show, which, by the way, fucking excellent. So happy, but we can't really talk too much about that.
I'm about to say, that one was pretty cool. Next match was Pete Dunne versus Timothy Thatcher. Pete Dunne was another name I think is brilliant and awesome for Bloodsport. He adds that legitimacy to it, and his style and Thatcher style was amazing. This one was one of the really good Bloodsport matches of all time. I thoroughly enjoyed this one, but this card, I feel like there's two more matches here that could I thought were better, and that's saying something because Pete Dunne, Bruiserweight, coming out with the Bruiserweight music was awesome too. Next one was Natty Neidhart defeats Miyu Yamashita. That one was
like the one I was kind of sad to miss. Like Miyu Yamashita, the fucking has been killing it for like the last few years. Every time we see her in the States, like Pride Style and Prestige booked her on their crossover show last year. It was amazing to watch her against Trish Adora. Yeah, like Miyu and her getting like one of the top names that we've ever gotten in Bloodsport, so deserved.
And this was the best I've seen of Miyu. Like holy shit, she stepped up to the plate here.
As far as Miyu Yamashita surprise matches, that match on the it was at NGI against Jimmy Lloyd where she dabbled a little bit in death. Yeah,
with the tables and stuff. Yeah,
and even the glass. Like I think there was a little bit of that.
Oh, I don't remember glass. Yeah, Miyu stepped it up here and delivered, but Natty once again. Like, I'm sorry if you're not like this is talk I had with Kevin in the chat with the WWE stuff. If you're not gonna do something with them, or even like a Pete Dunne, you're doing some stuff with them, but Natty, like, why not throw him
Yeah,
on
Natty
like these
is
situations
so
like this?
stale in the WWE. She's done everything she can do, but it sucks to say that she should move on because it means she's losing her job. But if they can find a way to keep her on payroll, but get her out to other places to freshen up her act and do
I was just
different
about to
things.
say that's what these shows I think are for. Like, use them to refresh them and show them what the badass Neidhart was. Because man, she delivered here. Like, she was her intensity. I think she just loved the crowd too, and how loud they were for her. This one was one of those two matches I said that could beat Pete Dunne and Timothy Thatcher. This one was crazy. Sorry. Anything, John?
I just want to say I like aggressive Natty also. Also, let's just say, because Natty's in the second half of her career, we've spoken about this before, but I like how Bloodsport gives a veteran wrestler the opportunity to increase their longevity because they're performing in a less impact art when it comes to Bloodsport. You're not coming off the rope, so you don't have ankle issues. You're not going out of the ring and jumping down. You're not going to see as many hip issues, knee, leg issues. If you have a knee issue, you can still do Bloodsport without any issues, where you may have more if you're trying to run the ropes.
And you can reinvent yourself in the process.
Right. Exactly. So I could see CM Punk come over here, and I know that's I could
that's
see
a pipe dream, but I get it.
I could see a veteran come over here towards the end of their career and extend
Nakamura.
it an additional.
Oh my God!
Mine. Mine is mine. If Nakamura ever shows up.
Hey, Nakamura already has the MMA history. It's perfect.
Striking. Mm-hmm. Yep. Like him and Suzuki. Oh yeah, that was the one I was really hoping for this year.
But if my wrestler's allowed to stay around an additional 5 to 10 years because he's able to perform in this arena, then I will take that over not being able to see him ride a couch for 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't mind seeing the WWE. Yeah. And I think unfortunately, I think the WWE name and some of these names helped out the Bloodsport attendance and the hype for this one, because some of the names they got on here fit perfectly. Yeah, I think that's the
golden what's Chad Gable? Chad Gable's not doing anything right now on TV, right?
The success of Bloodsport sounds like it's going to truly lie in the acquisition of the talents that they have and the size of their names.
I just think they need to step up some stylistic stuff and fix it. And I think it's got legs. It just feels like it's like right there every time, and just needs a little changing to make it. And for my opinion, must watch TV. Nope, we did not get to the Tavian Heights match, Scott. We're doing that right now. Tavian Heights against Royce Isaacs. This one was one of those ones disappointed me, as Royce Isaacs is one of these Bloodsport people. I think he should have picked up the victory over Tavian Heights, but Tavian was awesome. His energy too for this match, like I think that's why I enjoyed. Like they could have easily just kind of stuck their nose up at this whole Bloodsport concept and thought they're better at it, but they just dove into the whole concept. Charlie Dempsey coming back out and being in his corner, I thought was cool and leads to the storyline that they got going on, but to cheer on the no quarter catch crew. I loved how they kind of weaved that in, but yeah, Royce Isaacs, this is the one I agree. WWID, I should not have picked up the victory over Royce Isaacs, but Royce Isaacs delivered in this one.
Royce Isaacs actually had a win streak on WWE Talent going into this, so I kind of don't mind that being paid off a little.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been on a roll too in Bloodsport as well.
Yeah, shout out to I believe they're now called the World Class Wrecking Crew, one of the best
they changed
on
it?
the Indies.
Oh, yeah. Royce Isaacs.
Yeah, because they won the strong tag titles, I think, and then did the rebrand.
I just watched, I don't know if it was from this weekend or just recently, they had a triple threat tag match with some people, and holy shit, that World Class Wrecking Crew just gets better and better, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tag team I definitely would love to see a lot more. All right, next one was Shayna Baszler versus Konami. Konami was awesome at I think it was the Dragon Gate show. She was really good, but this one I think fits her style more for Bloodsport, and Shayna Baszler is the Bloodsport queen down here, and I thought this was cool. I would like to see her get a little bit bigger name, as I don't know Konami's name too much. I just saw her the night before for the first time, but she delivered a really good Bloodsport match, and I thought this was way better than I was anticipating, and I think that's just because Konami stepped up, and I knew Shayna Baszler is always impressive in Bloodsport. No one. All right. And not main event. I almost said the main event.
I
My
mean, I
bad.
didn't watch the show, unfortunately.
Oh,
There's
okay, okay.
only
I didn't know how much you saw of it or anything. So you
Yeah.
didn't know nothing. Okay. But I'm
I
just gonna I'll
watched
give
it all dead. I watched it I watched it live.
So you watched it, but you didn't
dead.
watch it. Like how I watched Masha Slamovich versus Shuri at the Midnight Show last year. I got to watch it for the first time, even though I saw it live
Dude,
Yeah.
have you ever read a paragraph in a book, got to the end
all
of
the
the
time.
paragraph, and realized you
All
didn't
the
remember?
fucking time.
That's what I just did with Bloodsport. I will tell you though, this next match between Saber and Gresham, that actually was my match of the
Not
entire
surprised.
show. I did remember that one. I mean, between the octopus and then you have someone with these long, thin limbs like Saber has, this really like provided some type of a storytelling there that you don't see as much because when you're longer and lean like that, you have some advantages, but also there's your arm out there. And if he grabs a hold of you, you're fucked. So very interesting way that they colored that canvas for that match.
And I liked how like halfway through they're like, all right, fuck this. You guys thought we are just gonna roll and just went on a striking spree and like was delivering some crazy kicks and chops, man. This match was we always say this is one to go check out and watch. This for me was go out of your way and check out and watch it if you like some good grappling. Gresham and Zack Sabre. For me, this was my match of the night with Natty Neihart and me coming in second. John, you did it great. Like as they looked like it was like a legit match. Where like, oh, there you got your leg out there, I'm grabbing it. Oh, you got your hand here, I'm gonna use it and get your fingers. Like it looked like they were legit just playing chess out there in their brains, but their bodies was awesome. Like that was everything I wanted in a grappling blood sport match. Right, and then the next one is the main event as Gabe Kidd defeats Josh Barnett. Another one. I thought
Josh Barnett lost. Okay, that is very shocking to me.
Is that two in a row now?
That's one. He's been on like a winning streak.
Oh, I thought he lost another one somewhere.
I don't think he lost to Corbin. Or sorry,
no, he did not lose to Pestock. I know he's like he's got a one. He had a 1 on his loss record before. Now it's 2, but like
and he beat Isaacs in LA.
He's been
Timothy
mostly winning on these.
Beat him at Bloodsport 9 at the UCC.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a collective weekend. That one
was the only loss outside of this one.
Yeah, for me, this whole match and this kind of every opportunity I got to see Gabe Kidd. Fuck, man. New Japan's got a gem in him, but his style, his intensity, everything just fits GCW so good. And every time he's been in GCW, he's been amazing. But Gabe Kidd is a fucking for me, like I've liked him, but man, just his growth is just on another level. And him getting the win over Barnett was cool. Barnett's words for Gabe Kidd were awesome and kind of put Gabe Kidd over. Gabe Kidd put Barnett over very good as well afterwards. And I think the fun part of the match was there was a little kid like telling the Gabe Kidd he sucks, and he kept on like flipping off the kid and calling him his name. Then even at the end of the match, he's like, "Oh yeah, fuck you too." Still, like he's still going at the kid, but Gabe Kidd is amazing, and yeah, the kid versus Section 202. Gabe Kidd is fucking awesome, and for me, that was a good match for him. I don't think it should have been the main event. I definitely think the name value of those other two should have been it of Zack Sabre and Gresham, but Gabe Kidd delivered here in a great Bloodsport match. All right, so I'm done with Bloodsport.
Okay, so we did Bloodsport. I think you said you wanted to touch on the clusterfuck a little bit.
Well, I think we want to go in order, though. I will, since we're at this point, I do want to talk about, just to mention that there were, on the Friday matinee slot, there were so many women's shows. And, of course, The Collective was one of them with TJPW. At the Meet, they had Stardom. At FSW, they had Ponermania, which is where I ended up. But it's like, you almost kind of wish, that the distribution had gone a little bit differently to where the enthusiastic fans of women's wrestling could have seen most or all of them. But apparently, looking at the attendance, all of them did well. So I know FSW Arena, like I've seen some shows with like 20 people in there. I've seen shows with 250, and it's a fire code sellout. But it had a nice attendance there, I can say. And thank you, Kaya, for the wonderful gift at that show. Like, if you noticed some of my photos, I had heart sunglasses. Kaya gave them to me during her entrance at that show, and it was part of my big gay brunch ensemble. So thank you, Kaya. Someone that cut her teeth doing GCW ring crew at one point.
Yep.
True. Very true.
All right, so hopping into Joey Janela's spring break. There's not
Who
much
wanna
to
do
talk
it?
about.
Is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah,
Let's
let's hop
do
into
spring
that,
break, and
then
then
we'll
I'll be
quickly
able to
announced
talk
the
more about the
cluster.
cluster. But I will definitely be listening and chiming here with things I maybe heard.
Okay. Sounds good.
Hmm?
We're playing it by ears, guys. This is what
Yeah, the
happens.
nice thing is Wes going an hour earlier means I'm not too worried about catching sleep later. Like, I think
Gotcha.
that's something we should be doing when we have those three show loops.
Oh, for sure. We'll be figuring something out there.
Yeah.
All right. So Joey Janela's Spring Break 9 from the Pearl Theater at the Palms Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada.
What a shock.
Hey, I'll take it. It's been a long 2 years since we've last had GCW in Las Vegas.
Yeah, and hopefully we don't have to wait another 2 years.
Hopefully not. As
Yep.
long as
Yeah.
those fans show up and do their thing and pay their tickets,
Hey,
we'll
the
have
Vegas
Las
scene
Vegas.
is growing, and I think that's going to help GCW when they come back. That there's that our scene is getting a little bit larger by the day.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Need all
Fingers
the help we
crossed.
could get.
Yep.
We're working on it.
The opening video, I thought that was pretty cool. I liked hearing the music, the Vegas themed video, good highlight package. And that was a good way to kind of set the tone. And I enjoyed it. It kind of felt like a cool, like old school, just lead in right into a big show like a WWE or AEW. So yeah, it leads us into our first match, as it is for the GCW tag team titles, as Violence is Forever defends the belts against Alec Price and a mystery opponent.
And as we touched on earlier, Violence is Forever. Did Dominic's cuts open up any? Because he was bleeding like crazy on that Deadlock show.
I think he was still bleeding before he came out, and I think as soon as he poured the water on him before he came out, the sweat and water was already bleeding off him as well. Yeah, they went through a war at first, and when I saw that text from you, I was like, I didn't expect them to be that bloody. They were still pretty messed up, though, for sure.
Yeah, and I also took that video of the Violence is Forever entrance at Deadlock. That's how I want that entrance to sound every time.
So Alec came out hot here. He started with a dive from the stage. He really did his best to handle both men, but he couldn't keep up forever. There's no way you're going to keep up with Violence is Forever. That's just not happening.
Yeah, not 2-on-1, no.
So I'm wondering then, who was the partner going to be for Alec Price?
I heard a name.
We all heard names. We had a lot of ideas. We've heard a lot of things. However, do you remember, B, you had the highest of hopes? Who was you thinking was probably going to be?
Are we saying, are we going into it, or
why not?
I was obviously hoping for the East Coast Ace return. And I got it. And Reed, yes, I will talk about it. I did eat shit on that return. As they were saying, we had no idea. We had no idea who it was. I heard different names. We all heard different names. I had no idea it was going to be Jordan. So I legit popped like a kid. I don't think I popped like that since Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson showed up at AEW. But holy shit. Yeah, I jumped up on the stairs, on the chairs. I put my phone up. I dropped my phone, and then I ate it and just fell down right on my ass, right on the chairs there. But it was cool to feel like a kid again with Jordan's return.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Jordan.
Yeah, I love the new music. I kind of caught that. The video was pretty cool. I love seeing the new colors. I just wish we could get the TVs like that or more. It seemed like the cool Titantrons for all the wrestlers.
Yeah, that was actually one of my takeaways from the cluster is all those Titantrons, especially for the people you think wouldn't have them but did.
Yeah, and we heard about those twins too. Yeah, I did not expect it though, Reed. I 1,000. I thought there was no way. I did not think Jordan would return. I thought he was still hurt and not recovering yet. And even then, when he showed up, I was wondering, okay, he's returning, but now he's in a tag team, and how much is he going to be fully healed from the ACL injury? But he looked really good. Him and Alec Price, we kind of always talk about their chemistry as opponents, but I am very interested to see their chemistry come together as a tag team. I don't know if this is going to be a long thing or not, if this is just going to be a quick, cool little high, and then we get new tag team champions. But Jordan looked very impressive, and his return, he looks healthy, and I'm excited to see what possibly could happen as them as tag team, because I think those two could elevate this tag division with some of the stuff that they could do as a tag team. But they also
on the new music.
singles.
Well, did we
Love
see the
it.
graphic that dropped today?
LA?
Yes, LA.
Yes.
Granted, it was pretty much the same graphic as before, but it's nice to see that they are still wrestling subculture.
Yes, that's going to be a good one. John, I love the music. I heard it and caught new music live, but even rewatching it, I kind of heard it. But when he posted a new video out today, I think it kind of fully played the new music. I like it. It kind of feels like the little Zack Sabre Jr. TMDK background with the little East Coast Ace lyrics involved with it. I'm a fan of the new music for sure.
So I kind of got ahead of myself here, but yeah, Cole Radrick came out. He had his Garbage Daddies jersey. It was obvious he can't compete. Points to his left. Out comes Jordan. I have to say, the welcome back chants felt good. The last time we saw Jordan was July 5th, 2024. That was almost 9 months ago. I also like that Cole stayed ringside for this match, because once the winners were named here and it was Alec Price and Jordan Oliver, it was almost like you were able to see Cole Radrick say, yes, it's okay for this person to take my place as I'm injured. So being there ringside, I felt like was kind of a nod that things do continue, and this is my dude.
And just having Cole there in general, I'm sure. Yeah. Just nice that he's in Vegas as a guy that, has made his own mark both in the Vegas scene and especially in GCW. So, I'm glad that he at least got here.
The pop Cole got when his music hit, I thought was pretty crazy too.
I mean, that entrance theme is the perfect, it's like Austin's Glass.
Yeah.
All my friends are dead.
For sure. Like, I was like, holy shit, it's Cole. And John, I agree everything you just said too. It makes perfect sense. Cole being good friends with Jordan and Alec. I know they do have histories as opponents, but they do have a lot of similarities. So maybe seeing them working as a tag team would be is going to be good, and seeing hopefully they can work together. But as you said, it was Cole giving the graces, like, hey, we trust Jordan here. Like, I trust him to take my spot and to represent the Garbage Daddies well here and help you out, Alec. And Cole's little nod of approval, I thought, was a cool little piece of storytelling that maybe not a lot of people caught on to.
Clown asked a question here about the spring break.
We answered this one earlier.
I'm gonna say no idea.
We'll get to that one.
And we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there, because that was wild.
Yeah, definitely a moment I don't mind reliving again.
So our new GCW Tag Team Champions. I hope they go by this name, the East Coast Beasts. The Garbage Aces. I don't know. They got a lot of cool names they could come up with.
East Coast Garbage.
East Coast Express.
We'll
East Coast
that one on the list. East Coast Express actually sounds.
I think that, I don't know. I would go with the Garbage Beast. Like, oh no, Garbage is still kind of the East Coast Beast.
I like
that's still just all Alec. The reason I would not do East Coast Express is because it's a little too close to Nick, though. But you could always call back to it if need be. Because seeing Nick Wayne was pretty cool. Seeing Nick at one of the shows was awesome. He got Nick Wayne got a very nice welcome back chant too. That was cool to see the GCW faithful give him that love.
Yeah, I'm so happy for all the success he's having, and it looks like AEW's finally beginning to advance his angle with Christian Cage, and it's got to be awesome to sit under the loading tree of Christian Cage.
Oh yeah, and he was doing like the look at the crowd too and everything. He's
that's awesome.
Playing it good. He's doing awesome for himself. All right, our next match is a six-person tag match, as it is the Wagner family going against Los Desperados.
I thought that this match would actually open the show because I'm pretty sure Cartwheel had to jet to FSW for the ID tournament.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's a good opener too, though.
3 generations of Lucha on one team. I thought that was a fantastic thing. New fans were laughing at the enthusiasm shown by fans for Jack's cartwheels, how we all kind of buy into him and cheer him on. Everyone around me were like, they're just cartwheels, but they found the fun in us encouraging him.
And he
to do
sure got to
something
do
so
that
simple.
later in the cluster.
Yeah, he did. Also, I just wrote in here again, I'm going to echo what I've said before. We need as much Galeno Del Mal as possible before he's unavailable. I want to get him in our video library, but also I want to see him as somebody who challenges our talent, and somebody like that is the beast I'm looking for in this company. Everyone also had fun in this match. The tit for tat between Cartwheel and El Hijo was good. Dr. Wagner throwing his body out of the ring and onto Gringo, then introducing a garbage can. I felt like that kind of gave us a little bit of a hardcore flavor, and I don't know why, but I always find garbage cans like gross but fun. So any big item that can
the
bounce
fact
off
that
of
it
someone.
dents really easy makes it one of the perfect wrestling weapons.
Well, this was one of those rubber ones.
The rubber ones. Okay.
Yeah, dude. So when it hit, it was like thunk.
Okay.
But yeah, the winners were the Wagner family here. What did you guys think?
I enjoyed it. Screwball said I kind of thought that could be a good strong opener, and I just wish there was a little bit more story. Gringo kind of always, for his big matches going in collective, kind of tells a good story and gets us invested. I feel like there wasn't enough done with this match, but the action was awesome. Seeing Dos Wagner was pretty cool in person, especially with the sons. Yeah, both sons are just monsters, man. Galeno Del Mal. Here's one for you, John. I don't know if you remember this name, but I saw him twice this weekend, and this guy is a beast. And Galeno Del Mal would have a good match. Sam Holloway,
That's my dude. That's Mike Awesome in a new body right there. That's what I feel is the next step. Like if Mike Awesome went into this next generation, it's probably Sam Holloway.
Yeah. I will say this: I did see another garbage can spot with the rubber ones that weekend. I believe Mao. I don't know if Mao delivered the stunner or if he took one, but he did take one into one of those rubber garbage cans and did great.
Wasn't he folded into it? Right? I think he took it.
He did the bump, the stone, like the almost like a Rock or Scott Hall bump into it. So
okay,
that was a Grap House. By the way, shout out everyone who worked Grap House. That was the one really cold night of the weekend, and that could not have been easy.
Mao had a good. I like Mao's weekend. Mao against the Kesher.
Yeah, Mao was one of those guys that was definitely in the upper list of most matches. So good on him.
Other than that, I thought this match was good for what it was. All the spots that they had were really good. I enjoyed the Wagners kind of enjoying the GCW vibe and the lax rules and the crowd and everything. Seeing someone like Dr. Wagner kind of have fun at wrestling still at this age was pretty cool to see. And yeah, those sons are just beasts. And yeah, good for Los Desperados to get this match. But Galeno Del Mal for me was, as you said, John, one of them once again just stands out and from a match and looks so impressive.
Yeah, and on these talk-on shows, there's usually a great trios match with luchas every time. I'm sure this was no different. The one at Tampa Collective was freaking amazing, and this one's definitely on the watch list when I can get to it.
There's something worth knowing. Galeno is AAA.
Yep, at least we got to see him.
Oh, I see what he's doing here because there was some big news in the next couple of days regarding that.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was good knowing you, bud.
Well, no. If we're doing the WWE ID thing, like we could actually be in a position to see more.
You know what?
No way they're putting Galeno on a WWE ID.
I
would NXT him.
Yeah,
or at least
if they're not, like we may be seeing him on more shows because we might be the distant partner. Who knows?
I'll definitely take it for sure.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah. Anytime we can have somebody like that come on, I mean, that just adds to the mix. We don't have a lot of people that size on the independent scene. Period.
That work like cruiserweights. Yeah. Like even if that's kind of the popular thing, very few do it as well as Galeno.
Yeah. All right. Our next matchup was Megan Bain versus Bozilla.
Bozilla. All right, Bozilla's entrance with smoke, I thought looked really good. An imposing figure, tall, and also built like she's tall. Only 21 years old, from Hanover, Niedersachsen, Germany. Not bad, right?
Not bad at all.
Trained by Ulf Harmon and Scott Demore at the Can-Am Dojo. This powerhouse has only worked 3 years in the industry with a touch over 100 matches under her belt. In that time, she's already won 3 championship titles, including the Serious Women's Championship for 399 days. Her highest ranked match to date was a tag team match where she tagged with Sari to take on Julia and Utami Hayashishita. She ranked number 75 in the PWI Women's 250 last year. Not bad.
Definitely a name you want to get on spring break, especially if you can pull together what might be. I know dream match is kind of an overused term, but definitely match of styles with Megan Bayne.
1,000% agree,
dude. And I was really surprised how much they had booked this to really have Bozilla challenge Bayne. I'm thinking the way Bozilla was booked so strong, are we seeing more Bozilla? I'm not against it.
Well, I mean, it definitely was a showcase for Megan Bayne to do a Titan versus Titan match. So not a whole lot of people in the world they can do that with. And the ones that are on the big shows like Chris Statlander, which is definitely a match that has been pretty good.
So as an aside, because we don't think about how quick time goes, we're 42 matches deep into Megan Bayne's time at GCW. She's also the current House of Glory Women's Champion, 270 days in running. And I just wanted to mention her red, white, and blue gear. I thought was badass.
And there's another accolade that we need to keep in mind. She is the Do or Die Rumble winner.
And we never talk about that. I feel like that story, so to speak, just kind of went away, and it should.
But it can always come back at any time.
That's the truth.
And sometimes,
also, Megan,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say Megan's right now 8-5 in 2025, but last year she was 28-4. So I just wanted to put that out there, just kind of as a reminder that Megan maybe have been around longer than some of us think. I only feel like we've seen 20 matches out of her, and here she is, up there already. Yeah, Megan was rarely eclipsed by another woman, and we had it here. My wife took a fantastic pic of Bozilla with Megan Bayne in like an impressive old-fashioned bear hug. One of the things that I really liked here, again, this is the new fan smell. We had move chants because the front row had no idea to move. Megan Bayne is like telling these fans move, and they're just kind of sitting there. So we knew these are not GCW fans or independent fans. And
it's whoever got those front row seats that in the Patreon or whatever.
Yeah, so I mean, so independent fans, like, they know to start yelling move, and you can hear which ones are the independent fans on our side.
I had to grab a guy once at a UCC show that was on his phone watching the main event of Elimination Chamber, Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns, while they were about to dive on him. Me and one of the Santino Bros guys that was doing ring crew had to fucking pull this guy off.
I thought Bad Dude Tito was gonna kill me in LA. Like, if I didn't move at that last second, holy shit, I'd have been dead. They come flying, man.
I love it. But yeah, I just noticed though there's definitely a crowd there that was like, move.
Yeah,
it's completely alien to them, and we're down there yelling move. To a point to where the second or third time move chants happened, people started laughing at them. And it had to be mostly like WWE or AEW fans, but they found it comical that we're trying to tell people, you dumbass, move. You're going to get fucking hurt.
As we say, both now in the Indianapolis scene and in the Vegas scene now, thanks, Jay Rose. If the action looks like it's coming your way, it is.
Get the fuck out of the way.
And move.
Another fun chant here that we had was you fucked up when the Atticus video was accidentally shown on the screen. And my third favorite chant here, of course, was chicken fingers, because that's what Atticus had said in the video. We were talking about the venue earlier, about how it is with sound. I was talking about how sometimes we were having problems hearing what the other people in the venue were chanting. If you actually listen at minute 57 and 25 seconds, you'll actually hear the overlapping chants where fans are having problems kind of hearing each other.
Yeah, and
Um, it,
chanting
it just
over themselves when they intend to chant with themselves.
Yeah, or it's a 3-word chant. And by the time this side of the venue is on the 3, like the other side of the venue is still on the
I
second
remember
word.
running into that a couple times at the cluster, and it might have hurt some things, but yeah, it's just minor shit.
Yeah, but I saw it happen quite a few times, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I found myself like going, okay, what are they saying? All right, guys, they're saying fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. So, but yeah, Megan Bain won this. I have Bring Vozilla back. If this was her longer term introduction to us, then I feel it was a good one. Same thing. I think she's a TV star waiting to happen. It's just which major company is going to pick her up and develop her first. Insane booking also. Bozilla got in more offense than expected. It was the first time we've seen some real trouble for Megan from someone that would be in her division in any other company. Do you guys have any other thoughts on this match?
I think everything you hit it on was spot. Like I didn't think Bozilla would get that much offense. I thought it'd be a good little showcase, but the back and forth that they had was awesome. And yeah, I'm down for match 2, 3, a feud. Bozilla to stay here. Bozilla was impressive, and Megan. It was kind of nice seeing Megan work a little different style against someone bigger than her, and that's something we haven't, as you said, haven't seen much. So to see a different style of, well, I mean, she didn't really work a different style, but see the little struggle and the stories of her kind of struggling with the bigger Bozilla, I thought was really good for Megan's character, and a good thing to see her to showcase her in this weekend.
Yeah, and see right there, Scott saying the same thing. The interactions I saw on Twitter were making Bozilla seem like it would be Megan's bill, and it was. It was billed that way. It was sold that way, and they did a damn good job of selling it that way from beginning to end.
Yep. Our next matchup was Zack Sabre Jr. versus the one called Manders.
All right. So Mander's entrance had something special in it. I don't notice if anyone
Since we're on the topic of Manders entrances, I do want to go back to the triple shot. Fucking Manders and Maki. That was some good fun mishmashing of two completely unrelated characters. Like having Maki do the lip syncing for Wanted. That was just a cool moment.
With the cowboy hat on?
Yep.
Let's see here. Where was I at? Yeah, so there was something that was here that was special in Mander's entrance. I don't think I had seen as much before, and that was Swagger and Aura. This is his return to GCW after conquering WXW and winning the WXW 16
bringing the title here and defending it during this weekend. Yes. That's amazing.
And just recently winning the West Coast Pro Tag Team Championship with Thomas Shire. Only 5 days into that championship run right now. So congratulations on that.
Those two had a fun little interaction in the Deadlock Gauntlet too. So
really?
Yep.
Just a good matchup back and forth?
Well, because it was a 12-person gauntlet, so and not every combination, interacted with each other. There was a missed opportunity with BK Westbrook and Brian Keith as the BKs, but there was definitely some good short wrestling between them at some point during the weekend.
And then I was noticing with Zack Sabre Jr. in the last month or two, he's kind of skinnier since we last seen him. Is there a story to his slimming down? Like, did he have an injury and he's trying to keep his body weight down, or is he aging and he's keeping his weight down to keep his moveset in? And does anybody know anything?
No,
okay.
I didn't know that he was out because obviously I just seen him last month in LA have that banger with Fuego.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just didn't know if maybe he's trying to, get into a weight class for something and just kind of enter a tournament or whatnot.
Oh yeah, maybe he's just working out, getting the time in the gym. Like if that's the case, good for him.
Fuck yeah, good for him. I wish I could do that. I also want to do a little reminder on Zach.
Yes.
He's a 4-time Rev Pro undisputed British heavyweight champion for over 1,000 days, a 3-time IWGP Tag Team champion, 2-time NJPW World Television Champion, 386 days, a two-time IWN Tag Team Champion, 1,125 days. The NWA United King Junior Heavyweight Champion, 953 days. The TXW Champion, 882 days. 3 WXW Championships, 2 DDT Championships, and several other singles championships that I did not list, but there was an additional 8 to 10.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. We can't be here all night.
No, hell no. But I mean, it's just we haven't rang off Zack Sabre Jr.'s accolades in a while, but there was just so many there. Why not? I had some time.
Yeah.
When the match started here, it felt like two bulls meeting, and they decided to play a game of one-upsmanship. They laid the chops into each other very heavy. It was fun to hear live that deep, hollow chest sound when you hit. The fans were split down the middle with who their favorite was in the beginning. Zach used his skills in muscle manipulation as an attempt to break Mander's fingers, then working on one of his arms to try and neutralize Manders from using his lariat finisher. Very smart. After minutes of brutal fighting, the fans unified with a "both these guys" chant. So I thought that was a cool little thing where we actually had the fans split, and in the end, they won the fans over together. And so in a very short 8-minute match, it told one hell of a story. Our winner here was Zack Sabre Jr. I'd love to hear what you guys would say about this one.
I'm shocked at the time. It felt like it was like a good 15 minutes, but like I'm saying it in a good way. Like it felt like a really good match that told a big story. That's why when I saw that time up there, I'm like, whoa, like I want more. As you said, give it to me again. They definitely have like, while their styles are different, I think they mesh very well and they could tell very cool stories. Obviously, Zach's able to do that with anyone, but I think Manders, as you said, coming back from Germany, showed his growth here and able to tell a cool story throughout the match. And his run over in WXW is paying off over here. And I'm happy to have him back over here and can't wait to see what he does, hopefully back in this GCW run here soon.
Hearing that Zack Sabre Jr. just had an 8-minute match, this is a guy that's kind of associated with the longer matches.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
kind of interesting to see, since he's got multiple big matches, a way to kind of different them.
And
I wrote here, we need to run it back.
Yep.
Yeah. Then we can do the longer match on maybe a show that, it can maybe breathe on.
I just felt like in the end of this, between those two, there was something still there, I think, that they could eat off of. And I felt like
if they're doing an 8-minute match, that's almost certainly the case.
In my notes, it's the first time I've ever written, it was only 8 minutes, but they filled that cup completely.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So anything else on this match before we move on?
Oh, shit. No, that's it.
All right. So then we had a video vignette. Atticus made a promo video from our podcast. It was from the interview with Fuego that everybody remembers that we had not too recently, or just recently.
I mean, I quoted it.
True. He'd spliced together some awesome cuts to make this little video that he had. We popped up on that 60-foot big screen, and no shit, I'll tell you live. I can speak for him. We were in shock. No one told us.
I have a question. How did the people in your immediate vicinity, when they put together that you were on the screen, react, or did no one notice?
Raleigh went crazy.
I had 4 other people with me, and they went nuts. Like my wife was like hugging me, like.
But I'm more curious about the people that don't know you that are got to be sitting around you. Did maybe any of them notice?
I think they did afterwards when I came up to John after the video, like, what the fuck just happened? I think that's when they started noticing.
People kept coming up during and before and after the show. So at some point there was a person behind and goes, "Do you work with the company? Are you somebody that does like something with another?" And I'm like, "Actually, I just do like a podcast kind of thing." And I kind of quote on, like I kind of work with these guys.
Yeah, especially that's an answer that might have changed today too. Like,
yeah. But yeah, the people around were kind of figuring out who I was because they were seeing like Castle stopped over, Big Vin, then here comes Brant over, and people kept coming by and shaking hands and giving hugs. So at a certain point, there was somebody that was like,
yeah, that'll definitely tip people off.
Yeah. So people were coming through and just saying hi, and it's not anything special. It's just, hey, I'm happy to see you. It's the love everybody gives each other when they're working within, and coworkers kind of thing. Like I said, I'm just a Scott said John missed his chance. Hey, I'm not kidding. Honestly, it was nerve-wracking. I'm going to be really honest with everyone. Anytime that you get out in the public like that, you get nervous as shit that someone's going to make fun of you. Someone's going to be shitty with you. I'm not lying. I'm being like totally open here in front of everybody. That was my initial worry, was that someone was going to say something negative or bad. And we have been very fortunate that people kind of get us.
Yeah, I ain't gonna like when you hear that saying, you feel like just all the blood rush out of your body. That's what happened to me. I'm like, oh, please shit, because like we didn't know he could have did this way worse than what he did do.
Yeah,
at least yeah. So that's where I was afraid of where it was gonna go, what's gonna happen, and as you were kind of saying, yeah, what's gonna happen afterwards, because we had no idea, and like I just felt all the blood rush out of me. I'm like. I like had to do a quick double take, and I look at John, and I'm like, "Did you know about this?" And he's like, "No idea." So, that
it was meant as a surprise overall.
Experience for sure, definitely. Yeah, that was interesting.
So like it's in our hometown. You know, all of our families are kind of
that's a crazy
watching. Or, I know we weren't the subjects. I'm not going to lie. We know we weren't the subjects. 99% of that was about Fuego. But we were collateral damage, and we were truly honored that we were considered, because that is an honor. I don't care whatever was said. Someone took the idea and sat there and cut clips and did all that. I mean,
they probably got the idea because you were Vegas guys. So it was the opportunity to do this.
I don't know how much thought went into it.
I don't know how much they even think or know even about that. Yeah.
We could have been the only recent Fuego interview, and he used that for clips. You know what I mean? I want to try to keep myself
but
I do
think that did play a factor, though.
Very, very possible. Either way, even if there's just a little 1%, my face was there. I went, you know what? That's wild. My honest initial reaction was I was so shocked. I didn't hear a single word that was said. I actually tried to like think back, like what was said. And my son said the same thing. He goes, Dad, I was kind of shocked, and I didn't listen what was saying. I was just watching to see what happened next. But no, we're proud that we were collateral damage. He definitely didn't sit there and, but
yeah, he doesn't have to give you that rub if nothing else. So
no,
exactly.
So that's it basically. Just me and B being the people that we are, we both shot a message to Addie and just said, thank you so much. We're honored. So that's pretty much it on that one.
I gave a little shitty face, so I had to give a little shitty face. So like, yeah, thanks for the video. Yeah, I don't know, like what else to say. Like, yeah, we kind of talked about it enough outside just us two. So
yeah.
That was cool though. Hearing other people kind of say it's cool that now we're a part of Joey Janela's spring break and on a GCW show forever is kind of cool to say. So that is what I will take away from it, is hearing the nice words from some other people that were part of GCW show forever.
You know what I was told?
Said something to be. He told me. Sorry, go ahead. What'd you say?
You know what I was told by Emil? Yeah. He said to get ready for clusterfuck in NOLA.
I was just thinking that.
And I go, Emil, don't talk like that. And I'm just kind of gauging, you know what I mean, for fun. And he goes, I've done it. And I'm like, dude, don't. I said, dude, don't talk like that. And I walked off. What are you gonna do? But yeah, he was like, So,
I got one bump in me, just one though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, B can probably take a bump or two. I have a couple ideas I think that would be fun. There's a deep down side of me that would love
I'm just kidding though.
I would love to enter, and I would love to pull off a shirt, and it's JCW. And the GCW podcast guy was Juggalo Championship.
Traitor. Never mind, I take that back. I can't take a bump. Stanley scared me enough, and Mason now coming out the woodworks from nowhere. Yeah, never mind. I can't take any bumps. I'm good.
No. It's all in fun. It's all all fun talk.
Yeah, so that video package leads up into Mask versus Career, as it is Atticus Cogar versus Fuego del Sol. Real fast read. So he told John, here's your moment. and then John was muted, and I started talking, and he kicked John off. And then for me, like I started to say something, he just kicked me out and said it doesn't matter what I have to say, kind of like The Rock. So that was pretty cool.
And it's like, he watches the show because of the mute thing.
That was the part I was like, yeah, he might have been watching that Atticus or that Fuego interview live and seeing how often we mute ourselves all the time.
That
He had
was
to make fun of
probably
it.
the worst muted show I think we'd ever had. We got bit like 8 fucking times. I don't even know what that was about. But no, I'm thinking chances are that, Fuego said, hey, man, I'm going to cut some fucking promos. Let's do it. And, Atticus grabbed a hold of it and made it work so that, he could spice up the show. And again, he's so freaking creative. I'll take the collateral that I was 1% of a part of that, because the other 99, 100% was definitely all about them, not us. Reed said, I'll take your spot. It'd be early for I'm returning at 50, but hey, my sister lives in New Orleans. And
hey, if I get hit up by Mason again, or I'm hitting you up.
I would only do a plane if it was super important. No kidding. But I mean, again, that's just something funny I wanted to tell you, because it was something stupid that for a second I took it serious, and then I went, oh, no. Anyone live could tell you Atticus is way over.
Oh, yeah.
That entrance was holy shit. Just the way he walked out, the way the fucking bass kicked in, like it was just nice to hear everything with a good sound system. You know what I mean? And
at the ID show, he was the most over person too. Like that was crazy, the love he got there. Like I just showed up right at that time, but for the rest of the night, he had the pop of the night for that show for sure.
I'm sure that someone was hopefully listening to that.
Hopefully.
Yeah, right. But yeah, between the entrance, the edge, the music, the appearance, the creativity, the wrestling ability, he's a man with goals right now. And I feel the GCW fans are ready to get behind him. That's exactly what you're talking about, is the WWE thing. It's the independent army. It's the independent fans, I think, that's really behind Atticus. That's going to be the ones who really know him the best here. I have to say that GCW and Atticus is the perfect mix. And whether they like it or not, I feel like they need each other to get to the next level. Anybody can say anything they want to either way. Also, this was his 68th match for GCW.
Feels like there should be more, but I guess part of the 4-4-0 run was that they kind of avoided that.
Yeah. Well, here's one for you too. Fuego, he was out next. He has the best looking gear you'd ever seen him in. Awesome John Cena-like entrance too. I wanted to say that. This was his 28th match at GCW. How in the hell did that stack up so quick?
Hey, once they got behind him, they got behind him. He was on every show for like the last 4 months or so.
Yep. Yeah, GCW is the personality game. So, I mean, if you have personality, you're going to fly. And Fuego is just oozing personality. It comes across on the microphone every time he just breathes in that direction. Okay. Dion, just for fun, had asked here who has the most matches. I'm guessing the most matches at GCW this year, we'll say. I can get you an answer to that right now. As of 2025, January 1st, the most matches at GCW is by Alec Price at 21.
Not
surprising.
And
second would be Masha Slamovich at 16. Now, here's something interesting. Cole Radrick just got hurt. He's at number 15, which means if he didn't get hurt, chances are he'd be in that second position right now, right around maybe 17, 18 matches. But yeah, Alec Price right now is our number one. Normally that number would go to Effie Mance Warner or Jimmy Lloyd. But so now you know. There you go. It's good you asked.
Hey, Masha being in second after I talked her up as the work ethic and all that. Yeah, it's accurate.
Duke is at 10 matches for the year for the gentleman who asked. Oh, it was Reed Harris Cooper. There you go. Yeah, 10 so far this year, which feels like not enough.
Hold on. I just want to make sure I heard that right. Masha's second in GCW matches this year?
Currently, right now, with 16 matches, she's 14-1-1.
Okay, yeah, that to me that's shocking. Just because I don't feel like I've seen that belt being defended that much. But wow,
this year it has been. It's just a matter that her matches are kind of foregone conclusions.
Yeah, I guess true. But her to show up that often is good. But that's what makes me mad. Like, if you're gonna have her that often, make it, as you said, make it a feud, make it a memorable, non-foreseeable win of Masha. Like, make it worth something if you're gonna have her for that much using that belt. Oh yeah, that's crazy stat to me. That's a stat of the night, man. Oof.
So I'm looking here. If we really start, let's see here. Her first match was January 4th at number 42, and if we take out the collective. She's had 32 matches outside of the collective in 2025 total. So between GCW, TNA Impact, WXW, I mean, she's really
and Mania weekend, yeah. Otherwise, like, yeah.
Yeah, her Mania weekend looked like Pandemonium, TNA Unbreakable, Marvelous, West Coast Pro, Spring Break 9, TJPW. She did Fourth Rope, Spring Break Clusterfuck, and then she topped it off TJPW, DDT, GCW, that 3-company show.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I will say the Pandemonium match with Mao was pretty good.
I love Mao. He's doing so good, and I'm so happy to see him pulling himself out of deathmatch and into the BOSJ arena, into that tournament is fantastic. Okay. Let me get back to what we were doing here. Action spilled to the outside and eventually onto the stage. It didn't take long for Atticus to start pulling out doors and chairs. He built a side-by-side double door bridge near the stage. Eventually, Atticus grabbed Fuego and they both went through the doors. If you watch carefully, Atticus went through feet first, Zandig style, and sort of hit the floor on his tailbone. With a new GCW crowd, it was cool because Atticus threw skewers into the crowd. That's kind of an edgy thing for some of the mainstream fans. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what else to put it, but well, they would call it edgy, you know? But speaking of AEW chants, we got a "you sick fuck" for a stage dive spot, which is normally not seen on the independent scene. You know, it's only just a little. Honestly, though, I'll take it. Anything that gets fans to watch GCW, I'm all for it. Please, you know, we want to share the love. A garbage can finally made it in the ring. Atticus folded the lid and tried to choke Fuego with it. An awesome job with Fuego holding on to Atticus to complete the double foot stomp from the top turnbuckle. Fuego's ready to close it out, and out comes Otis. Otis with a black hole slam on Fuego, which is an interesting choice because, speaking of the black hole slam, out came Sam Stackhouse to try to save his friend. A huge tope onto the Kogars, which, live, listening to the people behind me that has never seen Sam Stackhouse, lost their fucking minds watching him because they just didn't understand what a size, like an athlete that size, looks like, the physics of it and how much strength it takes to do what he does. Sam got cracked with a chair every time Fuego kicks out. I thought that was a very interesting part to the story. A great little matchup between Sam and Otis that has promise, if you ask me. Sam with a huge moonsault. Fuego followed up with a 630 through a door bridge onto Atticus on the floor. Fuego puts skewers into Atticus' head. He picks up a board with gusset plates attached and he swings it sideways. The gussets pop off and into the crowd. Just like light tubes, do not swing that shit sideways, always up and down. Even if it's the arm, you want to try to swing it at maybe a 45 instead of a 90. Atticus recovers, hits a brain hemorrhage on Fuego, and covers for the win. So our winner here, surprisingly, which I'm relieved, I didn't want to see Atticus leave, but our winner here was Atticus Kogar. Thoughts on this match?
The one clip I saw, like, every time they replayed it on the Saturday shows, was the finish, and it's like Sam Stackhouse's lunge that did not work out. He tried to break up the pin, and Otis stopped him at the last second. Every time I saw that, it was so heartbreaking.
And they didn't know any better, though. Those folks that were new didn't know any better. They just thought that's the way he did it.
Yeah, it's just like it's like when you can get that that moment in the ring that just doesn't look like anything else. It's like one of those things you just can't script, and it's like just seeing that clip played during every Saturday show. It's like, oh man,
I love him.
Yeah, I thought this was definitely one of the matches of the night. Definitely the story, the intensity, and I think there was still little tension on who would win, especially with this WWID stuff and the stipulation. But yeah, Atticus delivered. I thought they had a Great match. Sackhouse, man. Those chair shots that you've been taking from those two have been brutal. But I agree with you that the whole like, hey, every time you kick out, I'm hitting hit Stam with the chair was a very tough spot to watch. I could have like that was a good storytelling there throughout the whole match and then the night. And the finish was cool. And yeah, I interested Fuego afterwards. I guess we'll talk about it now. I'll wait till you say it though.
I was just going to say that original taser from Atticus's return somehow came back into this exact match. I don't know if anybody really saw that, but Dave had mentioned that on commentary that this is kind of a full circle thing here. Also, that was the end of an era. I don't have it up here, and I think I could probably pull it up real quick, but I think that's at least a 10-year career with the mask plus, or maybe 14-year career with Fuego's mask. Does that sound?
I know he's been around for a while.
Yeah, but I say he said a while last time.
Yeah,
I agree with you here.
In the mask, I'm guessing at least 10 to 14.
Yeah, you can't main event
on YouTube.
Sorry.
Did he have it on YouTube? I'm so sorry.
What the
mask?
Matches?
Was he wrestling in a mask during his YouTube years?
Oh, I don't know. Ishmael would probably be good at that.
Carmichael,
Ishmael,
we need you.
Yeah.
I mean, I do know he wrestled on Raw without it.
Yeah.
Can't forget that match. Eric Rowan with the freaking.
You tried your ass off, Sam. We love you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Let's
Sam.
see. He said, "I feel it's not over." Yeah, I think Sam and Otis have a
yeah,
match
I'm very interested to see what the follow up is for Stackhouse here.
It's only a matter. That's the next great thing I think is he's gonna have to it's gonna have to be him and Otis, and then for the purposes of, I think he's got to run into Atticus.
Yeah, I think that's got to happen at some point.
I forget who I was talking to about this, but just touching on it for a minute. Otis has really separated himself from Atticus in the last year or two and has really become his own deathmatch singles wrestler. And I just wanted to give kudos that to break away and still be and make your own way sometimes cannot always be easy when you're a member of a group. So I just want to say congratulations to him for breaking away on that. Screwball, I hear you thinking. What you thinking?
Well, I just had seen the comment about this match should have main evented, but I don't think you would want to retire above Sapu on this card. But yeah.
Yeah, other than that, I think story-wise, if that match wasn't on, obviously should have main evented. But yeah, I'm kind of here with you guys with Fuego. I don't think that's it. I don't know. Like, I would kind of like to see him continue his career without the name Fuego del Sol. Like, kind of, I think this might be his way of like wiping that name off of him and be able to start fresh. Because I like with that name being attached and kind of like his AEW kind of run, I think this might be a good way of, hey, this was it. And now I'm starting fresh and as maybe a new character and a new name. And I would love to see him continue on. And even if it's not wrestling in the ring, I was talking with a couple people, him on commentary as a second on second, him or Castle need to be, I think, a good second for Dave Prazak, or even those two could fill in when Prazak has been unavailable as he was going into this. I don't know his future or anything, but we were kind of just discussing like Fuego has been so damn good on commentary every time he's been asked to do so. He would be, if that's his constant role, I would love to see him give 100% into commentary if he really is done with wrestling and still stay in GCW. And I think he'd have a fantastic career as a commentator. Yeah, 2 intermissions.
Well, and also as a model because like a lot of masked wrestlers, he's looking pretty good under the mask.
Actually, like a lot of masked wrestlers, unlike a lot of masked wrestlers, he looks good under the mask.
That's the trend. The trend is that they're all good lookers under the mask.
You got to be like hot
Carter
sweetness
Black,
under there.
Like the former Mysterious Q, Juventud Guerrera. There's examples.
Yeah.
And all these people were in Vegas at some point. So,
interesting.
Well, yeah. Although I will say this, I ran into Micro Man entering the Palms after brunch, and wish I hadn't seen that. Yeah, totally unmasked, but unfortunately, you can't miss that it's fucking Micro Man.
Right. You can't. The walk. It's the walk.
Yeah, the walk is one way of putting it. Aside from, the fact that he's like 2 foot.
Okay. All right, we're gonna move on to this next match.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
All right. Our next match is a non-title match as the GCW Ultraviolet Champion Matt Tremont goes against Minoru Suzuki.
So this comes back to that noise thing. There were a few times Tremont did his best to get the crowd into it. And they were. I just don't think the crowd was able to feed off each other because of the situation. Again, it could be the size of the venue. Would not be surprised here. Sound can travel up, and there was a lot of ceiling to work with. Tremont kissed his head off the ring post, and it opened him up pretty bad. Again, new crowd who's never seen Tremont's bump on his head before. And I heard a whole 4-minute, 5-minute conversation on the bump. And yeah, so, somebody thought like a little Tremont would pop out of it. One of the guys said. Another guy referenced Total Recall, where like that thing comes out of the guy's belly and holds his hands and tells his future. Cueto. Anyway, it was a brutal fight. It felt like a hardcore ECW match from 1996. Adam Galt takes a Suzuki pile driver. Other referees then enter to split up the fight. The booking here was a touch rush, I think. Something more should have went on to elicit such a large response from the referees. Refs are dropped in the ECW or in the GCW ring all the time. Referees couldn't do anything to get in between of both of these men. But I'm trying to figure out, like, a referee gets dropped all the time. You normally don't have 8 come out at one time to swarm. So I really wish he would have maybe hit him and then continued or started a beatdown. It would have to be something 2 steps beyond, and that would let the referees maybe get involved, because otherwise that was just your average knockdown referee. We get that once every 2 shows.
But it's Suzuki. He's unpredictable.
That's no. Serious. That may be the part that I missed.
Maybe that's why they throw him out there after the first one, so they don't get after 2 more.
Yeah, Suzuki is an intimidation guy. That's half his act right there. So, yeah, I'll have to go back and judge.
They may have another shoot like Butterbean.
Another shoot like Butterbean. So,
poor Dan Severn. Sorry.
What the hell happened with that Butterbean thing? Can we sidebar for a second on that?
I'll happily talk about that.
Shit?
I know, and they didn't know the rules. Nobody knew the rules. Severn was calling it like it was a shoot fight, and like he's like, nope, we're stopping it. Like, I don't know. Geez. It was what it was supposed to be.
It was a Nokiaism at its finest, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was out there, that was for sure. But I thought this one was a good thing for Suzuki, because even during the whole Butterbean thing, Suzuki was just looking happy to be there. Had like Yoshi, this was after Yoshihiko, so Suzuki's already had an intense and crazy weekend with all the different style matchups, but this one did kind of just break down. This one might have even been a little bit more weirder than the Butterbean one. I don't know. It was a little, and to me, it felt like a little too similar to kind of what happened earlier as well.
Well, yeah, on this one, it was just like the ending was weird on the Tremont Suzuki. Like they were fighting towards the stage. You know, they just stare each other down. They're holding their respective belts, and it just kind of ended there. And fans weren't happy with that. I feel like they should have had video promos leading up to the epic finish being at the biggest show of the year, not trying to start a new storyline at the biggest show of the year, then blowing the finish, then no contesting it. Big shows to me are for endings and beginnings, but most importantly, big shows are made for the competitive athletic side of the wrestling that goes on. Hopefully there's more to this. Otherwise, I feel like it was a waste. Even if there is more to this, I would have found a better way to elicit the large referee presence. Maybe Suzuki should have, like I said, maybe beaten on the referee more or something. But I just felt like they wanted to get something done, so they did it, but they didn't think very well on how the story should be a little more believable there. Should have beat on Galt to where they go, okay, Galt is in real trouble. Send people out there now. That would have been more believable than Galt got knocked down. And, you know, even if that does happen, we only have Scarlet run in, or we only have Perch run in. We always have one backup. You know, it was never 9. You know, half the DDT crew comes out. Well,
I don't know. Like
they're
for me,
monsters.
Exactly.
You know?
For me, I was like, I think just these 2 characters, that kind of just helps their aura out a little bit more than trying to have just Scarlet come out by herself trying to hold Tremont or Suzuki back. I think having all those people kind of made it feel more intense and kind of what it was, as you said. I would have wanted to see a little bit more like trash being thrown or shit being like a little bit more chaos around the ring than kind of what was happening, because Suzuki can start some chaos, that's for sure, around the ring. But for me, as a Suzuki fan, I was a little disappointed. I wish we got a little bit more out of this. And for me, seeing kind of a similar ending to what I saw with Butterbean twice in 2 Suzuki matches out of the 3 I was able to see him was a little disappointed on my half. But being able to sing Kaze ni Nare was always worth it for me.
Always, yeah.
That was it for me.
I had GCW flashbacks from when he first arrived over here, where it was time for them the fans to sing that part, and it was just dead silence because nobody knew what to do.
I thought this was pretty strong at the Palms. I think it was like
very
half
strong.
Yeah.
Very strong. It was a huge difference. I was so worried someone is like they wouldn't know what to say, and everybody popped off. It was so cool.
Yeah,
I know it got a good reaction at Progress, at least, since that was the one I was at.
Good. Yeah, at the ones I was at too, he got pretty good. Even at the Hitchcock one, it was pretty good, surprisingly. Our next match is for the JCW title, as it is Masha Slamovich going against Suzu Suzuki.
For me, I feel like Japanese Dynamite meets Russian Dynamite. And if you go back and look, both have similar style gear, even. This was Suzu Suzuki's GCW debut, 22 years old, from Miyazaki, Japan. Her fighting style would be considered an all-arounder with hardcore and deathmatch specialties. She's a fan favorite wherever she goes. There's talk she's going to be the next Aja Kong. She's had 6 years in the industry, starting at 16 years old. She is putting in work, 724 matches in her short career, with the most matches wrestled in 1 year at 143 in 2019. She's only had 2 full years under 100 matches, 90 in 2022, 97 in 2024. She's currently on pace to beat her previous record from 2019 of that 143. She's a 5-time champion, with her longest run being the Princess of Pro Wrestling Champion, 466 days. Her highest ranked match at Cage Match was versus Siri at Stardom on July 23rd, 2023. She's participated in 16 tournaments. 9 of those she's made the semifinals or finals, winning the whole thing 4 times. That is who Suzu Suzuki is, and that's the best introduction I can give you. What did you both think about this?
I enjoyed it. This was another strong Masha match. Suzu Suzuki, never really seen. I've heard of the name, haven't really seen much. I don't think I've seen any of her like full matches, just maybe clips. But yeah, this was another good matchup. And as you said, Screwball, this is like Masha this weekend just showed why she's one of the best in the world. And this one, after all the matches that she already had, was pretty strong to see the effort that she gave in this one.
So I wrote in here also the squeaking of the ring in this match especially was a little more prevalent. For some reason, don't know why. I recommend not using that ring again. Our winner was Masha Slamovich. She retained the title here. I wrote personally, I felt like the match and the win fell a little bit flat with the fans there. When I looked around at the end, I didn't see a lot of people standing. You know what I mean? I wonder if maybe this is just because we've had 1.5 years of the same outcome that you might actually be getting this. I'm not really sure. I would like to see booking freshen up just a little bit on her, so that it takes away any of that stale taste that might be happening. Honestly, what it is I feel like we've read the same book for 1.5 years. We know the ending. We know how it goes. I haven't seen anything different this month that I didn't see in month 5. So I don't know if I've really seen any growth. I can't remember how many people she's put over. So I'm being tough, and I know you both are going to kill me on this one, but I'm bored with the booking of her. I think she's a fantastic generational wrestler.
Well, I know if someone was here, they would point it out.
What's that?
Blake Christian.
Yes. Yeah.
Where is he? I know he likes to lurk here. Yeah.
I don't know if he knows about this channel.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's not Game Changer Weekly anymore. That's right.
That's right. Our one night stand.
For me,
else in this one?
I kind of agree with you. I think for me, it's just the we knew that who was going to win, and it kind of took for me the excitement out of it. I am excited though. Maybe like I know it's getting late here. We'll quickly go through this collective as fast as we can, or clusterfuck as fast as we can. But
we got 2 matches. It ain't gonna be that long.
well, you know us. Alec though,
I
teasing.
said that when the show started, and I regretted my words 3.5 hours later.
Nah, right.
It's only 2 matches, guys. You know,
2 strong ones. A little tease with Alec during the clusterfuck, I think, kind of gives me a little hope for where that title might start playing out. And with the revival kind of this JCW show, maybe we'll see something happen there.
Yeah, I saw some names announced for today. I was very hyped to hear Gypsy Mac getting booked across the country.
Some new names,
Gypsy's
yeah,
another
that's
one.
going to be fun.
Yep.
All right, our next match is Gabe Kidd versus Mance Warner Part 2.
This one I was sad to miss.
Dude, it was so. Oh, have you seen it yet or no?
No, I have not. But of course, I did see their first one, so the hype is there, and I'm glad it delivered. Apparently,
bro, I've never seen someone shoot blood from 2 spots in their head before live. I've seen, you've seen it on TV, but dude, he was like doing the, to get it really pushing out, and it just like whoa. And live, dude, again, non-GCW people were like, whoa, what? It was almost like we finally peeled back the last little like part of the onion and said, guess what, guys, this is GCW. And they were all like, what the fuck did we get into? But they loved it a lot.
yeah.
No, it was good. I like Gabe Kidd a lot. I think we've already talked about that. He looks plain, but he brawls with personality. Smash mouth and tough. I have to say, though, tonight, that's where he met his match in Mance Warner. Before I go any further, too, I could watch these guys wrestle again and again. Between the promos.
I hope so. Like, this could be a series, yeah.
I would take,
please.
all 7.
Oh, God. The stare down here was intense. The storyline behind this was good. I wished it was pushed even just a little more. Back to the stare down, Mance has that crazy look, and he grabs the screwdriver out of his boot immediately instead of waiting mid-match or towards the end. That was an indicator this was going to be nasty really early, and I like that they used that to let us know you anticipate it, shit's about to go wrong. Gabe pops Mance with his own screwdriver. He's bleeding early like a stuck pig. This was, again, like I said, the first time I'd seen 2 streams of blood pouring at the same time live. His color was a wake-up call to casual fans. We're at this part of the show. This was a big part of what GCW is. So I was telling some of the fans, and this is violence. Settle in and enjoy it. You will not see this in other places. Upon close-up, you can see a small amount of blood in Mance's eyes. He's covered all the way down to his chest, and we're only in the first couple minutes of the match. The crowd loved Mance throwing things in the ring. They were laughing every time Gabe got hit with a chair or whatever it is that Mance could throw. That actually elicited a heartier laugh from the crowd than I expected. Doors are entering the ring, and most of them have Mance's blood from the constant dripping coming from his forehead. I'll stop there and just say the rest of this could be considered a bloody brawl. Mance got knocked out with a punch to the face, and Gabe Kidd basically passed out on top of him. That's where we got the count of 3. Our winner in this one with 14.5 minutes was Gabe Kidd.
Fight forever. That's all I could say. As we were saying, that was just awesome. Yeah, those 2 were. This is what I was saying about Gabe Kidd earlier. He just fits GCW and Mance Warner. Mance Warner, even without the belt, still staying in GCW and having the classic, like, good marquee matchups against names that he's not really able to face in TNA right now is pretty cool to see. And he's just still out keeping on improving his game as well. And this one was a brawl. Yeah, I didn't see the blood spurting until like he turned, and I saw like, is that like spurting out? And then when I saw the footage on Twitter, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, the punches, Scott.
And it wasn't his only bloodbath of the weekend. He wrestled the previous day at TNA in a barbed wire massacre with Sami Callihan. I'm sure that's going to be one I have to check out too.
Yeah, I got to check out that TNA show. I haven't even seen anything on that other than the Mance Warner match. All right, that leads us into our next match, as it is the senior scramble match, as it is Damien 666, George South, Mike Jackson, Ricky Morton, Robbie Gibson, and Kerry Morton.
I love Demo calling out the names and the ages of the participants.
I mean, that was on the graphic. I think it was the logical extension of what to do next.
it had everybody laughing too. And then also like you have people like me when he goes, he's coming out at 68 years old. And I'm like, fuck yeah, you can fucking do this at 68. I'm all for it. Welcome to the Jungle Hits, and out comes George South. I thought just for a moment it was Microman. And then I'm thinking maybe George South should tag team with Microman.
Oh
It's
yeah, they said
GCW.
the song. Yeah.
Oh man, and I don't know. I just maybe if like he just put him on his shoulders and they could just come out together would be, or a little George South jacket would be.
Oh.
Well, I would
Cowboy
love
boots
that.
on Microman.
Cowboy, they go up to his. The bell rings. We have a little standoff. Then Kerry comes out. He starts talking shit. He's making old jokes. You know, he's talking about people's dicks aren't getting hard anymore, but he stays rock hard. Well, long story short, he gets his ass kicked. So I'll just say it like this. Personally, this was my first time seeing the Rock and Roll Express live. I had been watching them since the mid to late 80s. I'm being honest, the kid in me stood up. They put my hands in the air, and I'd screamed rock and roll for the first time ever live in 40 fucking years. I was able just for one night to be a 6-year-old and just be like, rock and roll, just fucking rock and roll. And it was so cool. So I'm thankful for that too, because that was another unique experience I would not have been able to have anywhere else. I honestly thought Robert Gibson was done. And at the end of this match, I also wanted to say I could actually see Robert Gibson getting emotional because you could see him put up the fingers and he's doing the scan over the crowd. And you could see even from 30 feet away, he was tearing up. So it was a feel good, happy match. And we will probably never see those guys all in a ring together again.
That's funny because I thought the gag they really should have done was putting in Bodie Young Prodigy, but it sounds like this worked much better.
They could have done
Carrie and Holiday. Make Carrie and Holiday go in, talk shit.
Well, Holiday had a similar spot the next day, so
yeah. Sorry, B.
No, I was gonna say if Bodie, I don't know how Bodie's working nowadays, if he's working face or heel, but yeah, have Bodie come out, cut like a little heel promo on this. Like I think it could have played out pretty good there, but I think
it's a hard sell in Vegas. It's a hard sell in Vegas because he's still very much a face here, and you know he's about to turn 18, and the shackles are going off.
Yeah, Kerry fit it well, and I was happy to see him get that moment too with his dad. But yeah, that would have been cool with the Bodie out there.
Scott Evinger says, I took a nap in a dressing room and woke up sharing it with them. Nice. I wonder how many people have that story. Well, usually they go to the dressing room with yeah. All right. Let's see what else we have on this. Trying to recover from that statement. Was there anything else on that you wanted to mention before we moved on to the next little spot?
It was what it was there for, and I'm glad it didn't go longer.
Spot. It's a cool down spot after the intense matches with Mansoor and Gate Kid and everything else leading up to it. Sometimes you gotta cool it before you move it up again.
And right
cool
before
it down
the main
before
event.
You turn up the heat.
Yep.
So then we have some amazing stuff go on. We had a bunch of vignettes while the ring crew was putting up the barbed wire. Holy crap, we would have been there an additional 20 plus minutes waiting if Big Vin wasn't doing the job. There were two men just struggling to get one barbed wire rope done. He put somewhere like 75% of the ropes up himself. With a little help, someone had thrown him a screwdriver or someone. But I mean, when it was all said and done, he had cuts up his arms. He had cuts on his hands. And my son turned to me and he said, Dad, that guy will not, they won't know the worth of that guy until he's gone. And I said, son, actually he is gone and he was brought in special for this because he's that damn good at what he does.
Well, and, I mean, we remember VXS GCW a couple of years ago where it took God knows how long to get that up for Effie versus Jimmy. So not surprised.
Yeah, that was a birthday party and a half.
Literally.
Well, since we're talking now about that, this is kind of funny, but like nothing had moved for that barbed wire match that was going to happen at Jimmy's birthday party. I'm sitting in, I guess we'll just call it production or gorilla, and I'm talking with some people, and Brett comes in the room and goes, "Who's getting the barbed wire together for this match?" And everybody looked at each other and was like, oh shit, nobody was doing it. So funny thing, somehow there was total miscommunication. Again, it's just a small show, But yeah, that was a little weird. And I think that was Effie's last barbed wire match too after that, because
Yeah, you can still see
yeah,
the scars that left on him.
yeah, and for good reason. He
Be
needs
my
to be
last
done. That
match
was
too if I
enough.
fell.
Oh, yeah, he earned his stripes. He doesn't need to be doing much more than what he already did.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I just wanted to say though, I even took pictures and kind of put it online and shown people, hey, we're this far in, we're working our way through. I also want to say earlier in the show there, no, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself for the clusterfuck, but I will say before I forget, they did a damn good job taking that cage down very
Oh yeah.
quickly. So I want to give the ring crew credit for that. But yeah, for this one, all hands were on deck. We had the trifecta of Chad Mins, Big Vin, and we had Matt Baruso. So we had all three of our better hands on deck out there. I mean, like doing everything they could to make sure this thing popped off, you know, beautifully. And I still didn't see a lot of hiccups. Usually you see hiccups in collectives or, you know, independent shows here and there. There's always this thing I felt like just went beautifully from front to back.
All right, our main event is the no rope or barbed wire match: Sabu against Joey Janela.
So then I'd have to say this was definitely a unique match. We had unique moments. So much went on. I mean, Sabu tried to sell his bad knee early before the match started. If anybody wanted to kind of figure out what was going on there, he was trying to tell everybody, hey, my knee's bad. I might not be able to do that well. He's selling just his way. Joey was decked out in badass 90s gear, and he was sporting pink hair with the classic Janela cheetah print colors. I want to also say that whole set of gear from the tip top all the way down to the fucking boots looked awesome. And as a 90s guy, I think that he really captured the vibe head to toe perfectly. Sabu was decked out in an all white suit. It looked classy and amazing. I didn't think I would see him in gear like that at all. It totally worked. He had a career that I feel deserved a suit in the end. If anybody likes the movie Constantine with Keanu Reeves, if you remember when the devil came up from hell to get souls, he always came up in a white suit. And it was kind of interesting. So for me, I kind of saw like this is the devil in the white suit here, but at the same time, it's like how classy to show up in a full suit for a wrestling show, unless you know you're the shit. And yeah, so Sabu was the first to make contact with the barbed wire, and it shows how loose some of the barbed wire ropes were. A whistle blows. Out comes Fonzie with a chair. He tosses the chair in the ring. Sabu launches the chair at Joey, Sabu style. Sabu goes off the chair, falls onto the barbed wire ropes, which break, all three of them, and that sends Sabu face first into a spider web of barbed wire. Sabu's wrapped in it, and Joey had to rip off Sabu's jacket, which was also attached to his hair that also was partially ripped out. I'll stop right here. Let's talk for a minute about this. Do you think that rope spot was planned? Because I don't know if going face first into a spider web was really the plan.
Right there, that's why I was like, no, just because falling face first into a spider web is not a good plan.
No. I think he was supposed to hit those ropes and lay on them.
I was all right though. Like once that happened, I'm like, oh, Sabu's going in on this one. We're about to get a treat here.
Yeah. I was so worried about his health for the first couple minutes, and then when I saw shit just start to like crack off, I'm like, okay, we've got the Sabu, we've got the best Sabu we're gonna get. And I'll still say I think I'm happy with that match. Dude, I'm very happy with that match. Joey was a bloody mess. I also noticed he's got that wild-eyed, crazy face. The only way I can describe it is there was a match where Joey had a skewer in Japan shot all the way through his fucking cheeks. And he had this wild-eyed look to him, and he pulled the skewer out. And I'm like, that's the fucking devil. There's the devil in Joey Janela. Okay, so let's get back into this. Joey then whips Sabu into a barbed wire board. That also breaks another barbed wire rope, and Sabu flies onto the floor with a thud. You can literally see his head kind of shaking. I didn't know what was going on at that point. But on the way though, Sabu cut the back of his head on the razor sharp barbs from the middle rope. And there is where we ended up getting that 12-inch plus stripe of thick blood that was pulled on the ground. What you think could be?
That thud was
Yeah,
one of the
live.
most sickening thuds I've heard. Like live did no like the trailer feed does no justice.
Nope.
Holy shit, that thud when he hit, like I like went
You
up my
could hear it.
head.
You could
Yeah,
hear
it
it throughout the
was
place. You
loud. I
swore
never
they
heard a
mic'd
thud like
him.
that.
You swore they mic'd him. It was like there's just crowd noise, and then all of a sudden you just hear a thump, and
And
you're
then
like,
hush,
oh
and then
shit.
it was silent after
It wa-
that.
Yeah, so that's the other thing live. I'll tell you, like the thud was so hard it silenced people because we automatically just did the math on physics and went that body isn't feeling good. Like it
Yeah.
was just a thump. And we even knew that was with some slide. He was going out of the ring so far he was sliding. So he hit thump and then slid.
So I didn't hear the slide. I just saw him go and just fall, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I had flashbacks to Effie, but with the thud of like
Yeah,
Effie,
yeah.
you just saw him get stuck, and then you just saw him fall and just get
Yeah.
dragged through the barbed wire. This one was just flying, but it was the thud on the concrete was sickening. I turned to our friend and I was like, "Dude, that was probably the loudest and most sickening thud I've heard in wrestling outside. That was nasty."
So then both Kogar brothers run to the ring, skewers in hand. Joey eats a kick and he's down. Fonzie then gets thrown through a barbed wire board. He actually led with his feet and kind of broke the board first. Very good job, Fonz, on that one. Also, Otis is down below with some snippers cutting wires. Then the lights go out. We get just a few seconds of silence that feels like an eternity. And then we start to hear the drums kick in. Enter Sandman Metallica. We get a huge sing along. Fans are watching Sandman as Joey's getting skewered. He's still being beaten on by the Kogars. I'm losing my shit like it's 1996. I'm seeing Matt Baruso and staff helping Sandman find his way through a very full crowd. Sandman then eventually enters the ring with Singapore cane in hand. Otis and Atticus are opposite of the Sandman, waiting for the next move. We know what happens here. Atticus and Otis eat the cane. Atticus hits Sabu in the back with a barbed wire bat, and it makes a nasty mark. You can see it's like purple. Eventually, the match comes back to just the both men here between Joey and Sabu. Joey then gets launched to the outside and goes through 2 barbed wire door bridges. After then Joey is cut out, Joey is then thrown through a spider web. He's literally suspended in midair because the spider web didn't collapse. So there is a door of barbed wire underneath that never got touched in this match. Eventually, the match does come back to both men. And after Joey's cut out, let's see, he's suspended in midair. Here we go. Sabu offers the cane for Janela to pull himself out, and Sabu denied it and kind of laughed at him. At this point, I realized Sabu was kind of having fun. He lightened up just a little bit. He even tries to make nice, do a handshake, do a hug. Joey doesn't bite. We eventually have a slugfest back and forth, then a chair duel. During the chair duel, we hear "This is awesome" chants ringing out from the fans. And then Sabu hits Joey with several chair shots, follows up with that beautiful Arabian facebuster, and covers for 3. So we're talking here in only 7 minutes, but a very 17, but a very full 17 minutes. Our winner here was Sabu. I basically wrote, "Bravo, an unforgettable match." Sabu showed the fuck up. And I just wrote here at the end, Joey puts over Sabu while Sabu chants "rain down" on the ring from the fans. What do you guys think?
Brilliant review there, man. Yeah, it was everything you just said. I think I had the same exact. I didn't even see that. Bravo. I was thinking the same thing. Like Bravo, Sandman or Sandman. Bravo, Sandman for showing the fuck up too. But
Group effort.
Bravo,
Group effort.
yeah. Bravo for Sabu for coming out and just taking the bumps and going as crazy as he did. I had nowhere near any hopes or imagination that match was going to happen the way it did, but I couldn't have asked for anything more at this point. Like I was incredibly thrilled with it, and yeah, Sandman had me like partying like I was at the ECW one night stand up there, man. It was just that was cool. That was like a party at that point.
Yeah, I will say this. If you're thinking of what classic venue the Palms reminds me of, I think it's the West Coast equivalent of Hammerstein. They have very similar layouts and very similar looks.
Interesting.
The way it
Interesting.
played out during the Sandman entrance, I was like that I had very Hammerstein vibes. I was like, this is cool that this venue kind of gives off that look and how he could kind of go through the crowd like that. I had that same thought.
Was it a better show than Hammerstein?
Well, it sure sounds like it, I would say.
Oh. Yeah.
No injuries. Only one dead match in this show. I felt like the Tremont Suzuki was kind of a letdown.
Oh,
That's like
I
a
was
dream
thinking of
matchup.
my bad. I was thinking of the first Hammerstein show because I was at that one I was at too. Yeah, I think it's better. Definitely better than the second one. I think better than the first one too.
I didn't even think of the first one. My dumb ass was.
I
only
just
thinking
went
of the
there
most
because like I was
recent.
there. Like I thought that's what you're asking because I was there. Like if you're how to compare it. I'd say this one. I think I definitely left spring break way happier than I thought I was going to leave going in. Because going in, yeah, we kind of heard some stuff and I was like, no, that's not going to be good. But I left spring break like just thrilled beyond all belief because all the action was good. Every match hit up. Maybe the stories didn't kind of work out as good as it would have, but I think that everyone delivered in ring and it turned out beautifully, I think.
That comment right here from Clown. That white suit needs to be cut up and put on trading cards.
Like the old WrestleMania
Oh my
match.
gosh. Oh my goodness. What a great idea. Sabu's fucking like cut up, bloody cut up and put into squares and sold. That would sell. It's
Yep.
his final match, dude. That would sell. Interesting.
Huh. So yeah, that was it for Joey Janela Spring Break 9.
We can tell which ones I did notes on.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna quickly just kind of go through the highlights of Clusterfuck because I will be honest, I don't think there's as much to talk about as last year's Cluster.
Yeah, there's not as much as to talk about as you would think.
I agree.
So I guess we start with the cage.
The cage it is.
Yeah, all those people coming out. I did not know that many people were in the match. They just kept on bringing names out, and I thought that was just way too many people there. The surprise, the setup when we walked in the venue was surprising. Seeing that same spider web board from Joey Janela and Sabu match still being used out there and outside the cage and on the cage, there's a bunch of fuckery. Seeing Ninja Mac was cool. I thought that was a really cool moment. Seeing Ninja Mac back in GCW. And yeah, all the names was just crazy. Seeing Sidney Hakeem coming back in GCW was cool too.
The only thing is like I was kind of hoping we would keep it a completely separate lineup from anyone on spring break. So it was kind of like an extension of spring break. But we did get some names from spring break filling out the cage, including the winner of all people, Gringo Loco, I guess. We can get to that. But we also got to talk about another person that was unofficially in it, I suppose.
Miedo! I was happy with that one. Miedo coming back. He looked healthy as hell too. Continuing that feud, I was happy for. That was not expected either. That was a great start for me for Clusterfuck. I definitely was invested in it, but Mike had a lot of great spots. He did. It was a showcase for him for sure.
Mikey D. Oh, and I'm really surprised that GCW's Twitter hasn't blown up with that guy after all the fucking spots he laid down in that match.
And that spot with the Gringo, that was incredible. Like that height that they got was insane.
And then it says this guy is from what country did they say he was from?
I think it's Belgium. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that his mom and dad was sitting front row because they kept looking over to him. They were obviously mom and dad aged, and then they had their phone up and it was only on him the whole time.
Yeah.
So part of me deep down, just being a dad, was like, I really hope these fans really cheer him on because they came all the way from across the world to see this.
Going back to Miedo for a second, I saw a lot of people at that show that knew who Ciclope was, but not Miedo. So I don't know, definitely some recent new fans that were there.
Oh gosh, yeah. There were quite a few that had no idea. Some of our regulars, and once they saw them, they popped.
But they knew Ciclope, which is very weird because Miedo's not been out that long.
Yeah. I'm about to say I can't remember if Ciclope was on another card throughout the collective, but I don't think he was. And yeah, that was the first time they saw him that night too, or that weekend. Being a Macisos fan, I was just that was the
Yeah.
moment for me. Like, yeah, I like that. Remado came, he killed, he left. That's it. Like, that's all I needed him to do, and I can't wait to see what that feud turns into. I don't think. Let's see. Was there anything else?
There
in
was
that
a couple
match?
spots from Facade
Spots,
that were
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, I was stoked to see
most of them
Facade
had
because I
spots.
was not expecting him. I don't think he was announced, and talk about a guy that we definitely like seeing on GCW, and I don't see enough.
Yeah, I was saying that too. It was kind of nice having him and get that shine in that match.
I like Facade. I'm always a big fan of the use of color and also the fact that he's just athletic as shit, especially for his age too. He's still rocking it out there. Mike, I would like to see back if he's going to be that type of a wrestler where he has that look, but at the same time he also has that daredevil in him. I was really happy to see Ninja Mac back. It was just anytime I'm a big Ninja Mac fan. And then Sydney Akeem, I was happy to see Sydney back because ever since that JCW loss and he finally lost, his first real, I just feel like he's been there, and I really don't like to see him without his oomph behind him, his steam.
I think this is the first time we've seen him since Hammerstein, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what I'm thinking.
Wait, Hammerstein? No, he wrestled Effie in LA.
One moment, I'll look real quick.
Sydney did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In LA, it was
He's
he
right.
challenged for the world title. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't go to that show. Okay. Yeah, it was. Seeing those Ninja Mac and Sydney interact again was pretty cool.
Sydney only worked fourth rope and the cluster. That's it the whole weekend. I'm looking at his schedule right now.
I saw him at fourth rope for like 10 seconds too. That was a
really
that was a couple people. That show.
That stinks.
We'll not get there, but
so yeah, he lost the Jersey Cup and up against Kogar in that weird little ending. Then he lost to Effie, and that was it. So I mean, yeah, we haven't really seen him much, and I hate when people lose their steam and then just kind of fall into the background. So I'm hoping maybe there's another push for him. He's too good to not have an athletic showcase at least once a show.
Yeah. All right, that will be the clusterfuck. So let's go down the list of names here. So first we had no, I ain't going to go there.
Yeah, we had a big musical battle to start us off, I suppose.
Yeah, the Up Girls, right?
Yes, the Up Girls started us off, and now it's starting to get a little fuzzy for me because the next thing I remember was Becca, but she was not number 2. I believe it was Carrie Morton, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Carrie Morton was next, I believe, on this one.
Yes, he interrupts the Up Girls.
Yes.
Pretty much doing the same shit he was doing yesterday. They toss him out, and then continue the song.
Yeah. I actually kind of enjoyed that. The Up Girls were pretty funny there in that spot.
There are two schools of thought, and I want to get your opinions on this. One school of thought says Up Girls comes out first, hits you in the mouth, start of the show. The other thought is, what if we use them for halftime and they kind of pick up the crowd an hour and a half in? What are your thoughts on the differences between those two? Would you have kept them in the front, or would you have halftime showed them?
With the clusterfuck, I don't think it matters. To be honest,
yeah,
with
you. We can't really overthink the clusterfuck. It's the clusterfuck. All of its flaws can be attributed to the fact that it's the clusterfuck. I don't think it was as good as last year's, anywhere near that, but it's the clusterfuck. It's after Mania Night 1. Everyone's tired. We're rolling with the punches. We're gonna see everything in this match, and I don't even know if I want to change that.
Hearing
Emerald,
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, brother. You're first.
Nope. No, go.
No. Okay. I'd say that this was about 10 to 15 too many jobbers. There were more jobbers in this one than I think the average spring break. I think that this is the first spring break that really showed how thin the independent talent pool is right now. I'm just being fair about that. I also feel that there were times 15 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, where it was kind of a lull. And I wish I would have seen more of the GCW performers spread out instead of, I understand they need to be put together for the GCW Juggalo Championship Wrestling spot. But even that, Dr. Redacted is so over. I would have pulled him away from the GCW team and let him come out on his own and maybe
Yep.
filled in with another GCW person. What do you think about that? Disagree? Agree?
I would have had Traymont's music, had them all come out, but then like Doc just like push himself in front, like fuck this, we're not waiting, because he just comes out and causes chaos like right away.
Yep.
But I agree with you, like him having like have his own little entrance, I think would have kind of set the tone and kind of get the energy going. But that I think was the highlight of the clusterfuck, was that JCW versus GCW interactions and all the craziness. They definitely, I think, stole the clusterfuck in my opinion.
There were definitely some spots that just seemed to go too long, especially some of the guys that were clearing rings and then staying in the same ring. Also, there were a few people that had graphics but didn't appear. And it seems
Yes.
very weird to have some of these jobbers that had no chance of getting a reaction. But a guy like Jody, who would have definitely popped every single vocal in that audience, was kind of left off for unknown reasons. I definitely wanted to mention Jody here because I felt so bad because I know that guy is in retirement and wanted that spot so bad, and I don't know why he wasn't there when he would have gotten a reaction that some of these guys that were getting run over would not have gotten there.
Okay, so I'll kind of really cut deep for a second, and maybe wrestlers will only get this. But if you're not a very well-known talent, don't let your music play and walk around the ring and slap five with people. Even at the Royal Rumble in the WWE, these are people that are well more beyond, they just basically run in the ring. Nobody, we don't need Doc whatever to just run around the ring and slap five. Like, get in the ring. Don't take more time than you need to. Nobody probably knows you. You're like a New Orleans local that made it to the show and you happen to be here, and, some wrestler didn't show up for his spot, so you took it. But I mean, that's taking too much time. Like I said, this might be too much of a deep cut, but I mean, if you're not that important, don't do that. Just you're taking too much time on your entrance. Just get in the fucking ring and do it, and save those kind of spots for people who actually do deserve to go around the ring and get high fives, like maybe a Tremont, a Janela, if Janela was in this. So I saw that level every now and then, and I found that kind of interesting because, like I said, not even at WWE's Royal Rumble do you see like the lower totem pole or even the mediums running around the ring, getting fives from everyone, letting their music play an additional 15 to 20 seconds. Just get in the ring and do the job. Be happy you're there. It chewed a lot of time. I think it chewed more time than people maybe.
I think they might have cut time from the clusterfuck, and that's why we didn't get like Jamie Senegal or whatever in there. Like, I know she had a graphic.
So there were
I know she was there too because I saw her after the show.
Yeah, I really do think that there were some that I think they retooled it. There's always retooling, but
yeah,
I do know there were names that were announced that then didn't show up. But I mean, that could be something as simple as a wrestler said in LA, yeah, I'll be there in Las Vegas. So Brett writes him down as somebody who will be there, and then they just don't show up because they're busy on another show or they got booked somewhere else. You know? So
it's hard to say. I don't know anything for sure. For all I know, Jody might have pulled out himself. I don't know. But, it was just weird that there were multiple people with graphics that we just didn't see. And I know we're there.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just know there were sections in here that were rough, and I'm just going to be honest about it.
Oh, yeah.
19 people straight losing to the Invisible Man, which really I think it was like 6 or something.
It did feel like it.
It was egregious. It was too much. When you have 6 people pulling the same stunt, no matter what stunt it is, there's always going to be 1 or 2 that are great. There's going to be 1 or 2 that are bad.
Jack Cartwheel was one of the greats.
Yeah. And so if you put 6 in a row, a couple of them are going to look like shit. What did you really just do to their character? So, I heard it through everybody. They're like, okay, this is finally, we've ran the course on Invisible Man. He really should have only been for 2 or 3 and bounced.
Yeah, I will also say this, the real magic of the Invisible Man and the clusterfuck is that you don't have him go on a tear. You have him disappear and then reappear.
Yes.
Disappear, reappear. Like, that's how that spot really should work. So you kind of forget he's there after several minutes of not doing anything. Then he comes back and it's like, oh shit, he's still in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, having him run the gauntlet and just tossing everyone made no sense.
None. And like I said, only 2 out of 6 are going to look good. The rest of them are going to look average or the worst. So what you did was
shout
you
out
just
to
took
Jack
6.
Cartwheel for making that work.
Cartwheel was definitely one of them. Yeah. And then, like I said, there are 4 others now fighting over the spots for average to below. And I'm just trying to figure out how that really made anyone look good outside of maybe 2 of those 6, just for an odd number. What else was there? I'm going to have to actually look at it to see. Here.
I will say this.
I kind of have the order up there too, so I was going to run it down real fast.
Yeah.
Go ahead, though.
Yeah, but I will say this. I thought the Sleepy Ed gimmick actually worked here. Like, it was one of the ones that didn't overstay its welcome.
I like Mickey James dry humping him. Mickey James dry humping him on the bed
Mickey
really
Knuckles.
put it over for me.
Yeah, Mickey Knuckles, not Mickey James.
I'm about to say, that's a whole...
Holy shit.
We're on 3.5 hours.
Slipping the tongue on that one.
And Effie fucking coming out and posing on the bed after the spot's over.
Yes.
Like, that one worked well in a way that Sleepy Ed's gimmick sometimes doesn't work as well. Here, I thought it worked.
The crowd was awesome with that. Like the shit and Emma whispering some of the next entrances. That one hit too. I enjoyed Blanket getting punted out of the ring.
Yes, I have a personal story about that. So I was tipped off on that one. The graphic dropped. Val Pancake showed it to me at the dive bar. So when I saw Blanket, I immediately knew what the fuck was about to go down, and I was just waiting the next few minutes for it.
Yep. And that spot was funny. What's his name? Nate Webb trying to do the worm with the arm. I thought that was a pretty funny spot as well. Let's see here.
And then they went straight from that to Yoshihiko. Like, didn't even just went straight from Teenage Dirtbag to the Undertaker's Ministry theme, and the crowd just fucking loses it at fucking Yoshihiko.
Yes. That Yoshihiko went flying farther than Blanket too.
I almost caught Yoshihiko. It only landed like 6 seats away from me.
I was going to say, when it started flying that way, I go, Screwball's going to catch that motherfucker. And
I wish I had. I wish I had, because I would have thrown it back and
throw it back.
I would have thrown him back in the ring and let them do the elimination again. Like, I would have fucking risked it all on that. And fun fact, Yoshihiko's feet never touched the floor. It actually caught on the railing. And
Curtis
it was
Axel
very
2.0.
much above the. It was very much above the ground. Like, it caught ankle right on the fucking railing. So,
tell me, Yoshi doesn't cut a promo on video towards Brody.
That would be awesome.
We have something going on here. Maybe would Brody be the youngest one to wrestle Yoshihiko?
Oh, that's a good one. No, I think they had like Yoshihiko like wrestled like a little kid. Like
Yoshihiko's been around for a while and has had some of the stupidest freaking matches ever. Like, they probably had a single-aged wrestler like that one Living Dead girl wrestle him at one point. Yeah, I would have done. I would have thrown it back, but crowd surfing also really. I'm surprised it didn't happen at Philly last year the way it went down there.
Yeah. Mexicools.
Yes, I meant to mention that during the Sleepy Ed thing, how they were trying to keep it shush, and then the fucking lawnmower just starts hearing up, and it's Hoovy and Super Crazy, and playing the part of Psycho. Yes, playing the part of Psychosis is Micro Man with the bubble lawnmower. Freaking popped me.
That one went flying our way. They're one of the, I think it was the JCW scramble. That when that was used, that one almost hit me over by the stage.
And then we mentioned Dr. Redacted, but we got to shout out that dude. He actually told me after the show that his match at Ruthless Pro Wrestling was some of the most he's ever bled out. And there's a picture of the freaking dive bar toilet where it's just completely surrounded by blood. Yes.
Yeah. Doc had a weekend outside of Collective for sure.
Yes. And we had to point that out, that disgusting photo of the fucking dive bar fucking toilet. Jesus Christ. That is the most unsanitary bathroom I've ever been in. And it's
independent wrestling?
Yeah. Oh, the dive bar bathroom you need to experience. Like, go down there one night just to do that, please.
Just piss in there and walk out and hope I don't catch anything.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm at Team GCW and JCW, Sleepy Ed.
Yeah, so Sleepy Ed, worked this time. Mickey Knuckles. Okay, so I'll just say Juggalo Championship Wrestling is growing on me. I'd have to say like Backstreet, the Backseat Boys, Brothers of Fun Destruction, Danny Moe, they work on my side. I don't know. There's something about it. I like raw and I like edgy and I like different. And I feel like the Juggalo Championship Wrestling, especially, is a little less polished. And there's something cool about that. I don't know what it is.
I thought their spot also went a little too long, but I get it. And hey, it got guys like Bam Sullivan and Lou Nixon a payday, which
Yes.
especially after Lou Nixon not making Bloodsport needed to happen.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree there. So the surprising one for me here was Effie getting eliminated by the Invincible Man.
Jeez.
Wait, the Invincible Man or the Invisible Man? Because that was also
Invisible Man. Sorry, Invisible.
Yeah,
Man.
Invincible Man was also
sorry.
a thing, unfortunately.
Not by Tommy Invincible, no.
Yeah, Invisible Man versus Tommy Invincible. That's peak.
That was good.
Spring break clusterfuck right there. That let me know. I went, all right, maybe it's time to bring out some of the big ones and start wrapping it up a little bit when I started seeing that. Because there were, like I said, I'm just being honest, there were several points where I'm like, okay, this is a lull. I've seen 7 people come out in a row I barely know, and I know over 700-800 independent wrestlers. And it's like, and then all of a sudden,
there was the one guy that fought the Warlord. It's like, who are you? Like
Tombstone Jesus?
No, not Tombstone Jesus. The one I don't even remember his name, but the gimmick was that he looked like the Warlord. He looked like the Warlord in 1990, and I think that was the entire Shreddy, yes, that was him. And I was like, I don't know who you are. What? You're not from Vegas, so I don't know you. Where did you come from? What other shows did you work this week? I think this spot could have been better filled by a local because people in Vegas would at least know who a local is.
Right.
New Roy.
Who?
New Roy.
Who the fuck is that? Is that one of the wrestlers?
Nasty Leroy.
Oh, Nasty Leroy.
Coming out doing Jack.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm tired, obviously. Might hear. I thought I heard New Roy. I'm like,
yeah,
who
that's
the
what they
fuck
called
is
him,
New Roy?
That's what they called him New Roy instead of New Jack. It was New Roy. He came out to New Jack.
Man, this was a long weekend, guys.
Yeah, it was.
I like that little spot. That spot was kind of cool. Let's see where I'm at now.
Oh, the music and everything, dead on. That's a gimmick I would have loved to have carried in the ring myself.
It was the perfect place to do it. Was the clusterfuck having Nasty Leroy do a New Jack tribute.
Yeah.
And can we say that Nasty Leroy looks better than he did in the previous years when it comes to what he was doing there?
Yeah, look, he was moving good.
Better
for sure. Yeah.
Oh, and then
I was kind of worried bringing that cart down the stairs because I don't think I could have brought that cart down those stairs like how he did.
I was waiting for it to end over end just for shits and giggles.
Just because it's Nasty Leroy,
Exactly.
That would be perfect. But he got that down. And I was like, hey, I was cheering him on for that one.
Can you imagine that they actually said, why don't you take this fucking shopping cart down the steps step by step?
Let's see what else
he was set up to fail, guys. He was set up to fail. I don't know.
Pero switching back to heel to be one of the guys that was chucking people left and right was very interesting after they worked him as a face about 10 hours earlier.
Yeah. Pero eliminated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, I think.
Oh, I was on the Pero train. I was so for it. I wanted to see the big guy just okay, so here's what's going on. If he looks good here, this could set up his next couple weeks or months as a big guy. So I wanted to see a strong outing. Plus, why the hell put him in there if he can't clear people? Look at the size of this guy. Big guys need the big guy every now and then. Like I said, on the independent scene, big guys are treated like pussies. They're getting beat up on 5-foot women and shit. And it's like, no, some of these guys can clean fucking house. Remember that the David Goliath thing only works when you see it every now and then, not all the time. So it was really nice to see the big guys get theirs. Like I said, I'm a big guy, so that's kind of why. But I want to see my team win on that one. But yeah, Pero, I was maybe the only person that plays. I was almost standing. I was losing my shit. Like, keep going, Pero. Just keep going. I think it was a personal thing more than a professional thing. I just wanted to see him succeed, and I felt like he did that quite a bit in this match for sure.
And I also wanted to bring up Pero because shout out Sonico for using the clusterfuck to get himself on that #1 position. Even if it was only a minute, I was just glad to see him get on the collective, at least in some fashion, and cap off the weekend properly.
What about Snitsky? Did you guys
Well,
like Snitsky coming in?
Well, we talked about Snitsky already, like how I got the tip on that. I was pointed out that graphic, and then seeing the baby and realizing, yes, this is exactly what's going to happen, and I'm so down for it.
Alec and Masha.
Oh,
their little interaction, the belts. Alec calling for the belt,
wrapped her up and fucking 1, 2, 3'd it.
Yes, actually getting a pin on Masha. Yes, that was hope.
I forgot what those even look like. A pin on Masha. It's nice to see. You know what I mean?
I was the next year. I was shocked. I'm like, whoa! Like, is that going to lead to something? Because that would be very nice to see.
Oh, purposely. I'm sure that was purposely there.
Oh yes, very
nobody
much
pins the champion. Nobody rolls up a champion like that and just 1, 2, 3s it. That was awesome.
Bob Squad. That was pretty funny.
Bob Squad was good. Always. I honestly thought it was Team New South. And then
and then we got to talk about Davey Bag just kind of randomly being in there, and then them calling attention to it.
Okay, that's why I was trying to wonder. Then they're like, "Wait, you're not from, you're not." What did they say? Like, you're not from Chicago.
You're not from Atlanta.
Yeah,
you're from Chicago.
Yeah, that's what it was. I love that part. That was a good call there.
It's like he just kind of was like in there in plain sight, and it's like, wait, you're not a South guy. You're not from Atlanta. You're from Chicago. What are you doing here?
Lena Cross getting a 1-on-1 with Megan Bain. They had a nice little interaction. Lena Cross, as we were kind of talking about, definitely holds her own against Megan Bain size-wise too.
More Cross, more Cross, more Bozilla, more Cross. Get them over here. The only thing that's bad about Cross is you have to fly her across the world to get her. But if we can, very welcome sight. The size, the aura on her is just fantastic.
Well, if GCW is getting her, a lot of other indies are probably chipping in. Like the tours are what's always nice to see. So may happen soon enough if enough promotions want to book her.
Man like Darice having the Man like Darice spot with Paul London.
Yeah. Darice is now the creepy guy that's like, just put my ass in your face. You know how we do this, right, mate?
Yeah, Viva Van was already gone by that point.
Oh. Yeah. Well, that was good, though. No. Yeah, Scott, he is joking. That's half the fun.
But him doing the rap and immediately going to beating someone up and getting him
and rapping still.
He didn't miss a word.
Oh,
he didn't miss a word.
You might have maybe missed solid. Like an 0-2-1, and that was about it.
Yeah. I think Emma was saying he was losing his mind because dude was just like hitting every single word while he was handing out an ass beating. That's not the first time he's done it. He's
he did it last year. Like I remember.
And then leaving the final two, Joey Janela with Megan Bain.
And Man Like Grace that was also there. Like that was the
I forgot he was there. Yeah, I forgot he was still in there at that time. Then Kieran Chris Bay's music come out and introducing Brody.
Well, before we even go to Brody Lee, how fucking good did he look? What a turnaround from last month at the Benefit show. Holy shit, he was. I could not believe the turnaround that he has made in about a month's time. Like, my God, like
it was nice seeing him at a couple different shows in the collective weekend and just moving around. And that was
at WrestleMania, and knowing just going into a big place like Allegiant Stadium, no matter how much assistance he needed, the fact that he did that is telling me something here.
Yep, hopefully.
There was a question here about finding a dirt bike in Vegas. There actually was an effort to get Bob a dirt bike out here. It just didn't happen the way we wanted it to. I also don't know if we could have ridden it in the building, but There was an attempt. Bob was asking people, could we find
Yeah,
it?
I did remember trying to quote tweet that, seeing if any my Vegas smoots knew it.
What else did you want to mention from this one? So you were saying we were talking about the Brody Lee situation, the very end there.
Yep, and then Chris Bay bringing out Brody Lee Jr. and Brody Lee Jr. making his wrestling. Well, I guess maybe not wrestling debut, but maybe official wrestling debut. No,
yeah, I know he's pinned Kenny Omega.
Yeah, about to say, I forgot about that one. Never mind. But yeah, that was a shock to see, and Brody Lee Jr. eliminates Joey Janela to win the clusterfuck.
CPA was over.
Yeah,
CPA was over.
Yoshiko was over. Santana Jackson was over. I'm just trying to think. Tara Zepp was a quick outing, but she was over. I think that's a sign. I like Zeta Steel, but right now I feel like that group that they have her in with Swipe Right is just, I don't know. It seems like typical WWE. You all look the same. You're all the same age. You all now are in a group together. But
she's clearly the breakout of it anyway. Like, yeah, she's the biggest, probably the biggest star of the whole ID prospect program, and like, yeah, Swipe Right. The dudes in Swipe Right just have nothing on, or just in a different. She's just in a different level from them, to be honest.
I thought they did pretty good heel work.
Oh yeah,
all the times I see them, yeah, I thought they did pretty good heel work.
Yeah, but they're just Zeta's in a different level.
Yeah, she was really good too. Her getting that much time at the clusterfuck was a little surprising, but yeah, she's been earning it as of late for sure.
I got that one up there late, but that was the one for Brody, I believe.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay. Anything else we can think of?
I will set out in a general sense. There were we did talk about brunch maybe not having a lot of femme talent, but the clusterfuck sure did.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
There was a point where there was like 8 people in the ring, and Jay Vidal was the only male.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. That's what's up.
Oh, yeah. All right. Woof.
I believe Shazza McKenzie actually pointed that out, that like Spring Break 3, they did the angle with the women being snubbed and them coming out and just crashing the clusterfuck. And now it's like, just without even thinking, there's more women than ever in the match. And it's kind of awesome to see.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys, next year, the collective, would you rather see DDT or Planet Death that has a few DDT talents in it?
New Orleans, I'll just tell you this now. There is no chance of Planet Death.
Yeah, that's right, because the bullshit. So that kind of stinks too, is like we're now going into NOLA where basically we have our hands tied again. It's like we're racing on a racetrack where we could go 250, but the car goes 350.
I don't mind it because they did a lot of stress on deathmatch heading into this whole thing. Like as of late, whenever they can do deathmatch, they've been stressing the importance of it. I don't as of right now, I don't think I minded this year as much as I did last year with No Planet Death, because I think at this point last year we weren't getting as many death matches as we would hope for as GCW fans. But I think going into this year, I've been okay with it. Like it is what it is for one weekend, and well, I guess 2 if you count LA coming up here, but. I think they'll get back to it, especially with TOS season coming back in.
Yeah, it just kind of stinks because Vegas will allow you to do it, but it's just a matter of the venue. Like if you want a death match in Vegas, you had to go to the dive bar. So there you go.
Yeah.
So Reed says something here. He says, "I think restrained GCW could be pretty cool, but that's actually me." So Reed, I'm going to challenge you to follow up on that, just to kind of give me what you're looking forward to. In that aspect, are you looking for maybe more like wrestling quality shows then instead of deathmatch? Or I'm kind of interested on that one. That's a very interesting statement there. So figured it was worth just asking real quick.
I will say this while we're waiting on that. The one thing that kind of made me think about going more to the other shows this year as opposed to doing the collective package this year is it's virtually the same lineup. Like there were only we just swapped out a For the Culture for the Culture that this is another talking point that was throughout the weekend that I know was very understated, but For the Culture wasn't an all black show this year. and that was something that was definitely discussed many times throughout the weekend with both both the black talent and just fans in general.
That's such a slippery subject too. I never know
Yeah, I
how to
know.
attach it, but I say, well, it's such a slippery. I'm just saying representation matters in all forms. And if I was a black wrestler who was maybe looking for it or felt like this would be the show where I would get on, and maybe I didn't make it because of others who, I would probably be a little apprehensive about that, because for the culture's in the name. And
and that's kind of what I was really getting
Yeah.
at is
Yeah.
I don't know if they should have ran that name if they weren't going to do that. I don't know. Like it's not a decision it's a discussion that we really don't have enough melanin to get
Yes.
into it,
Yes.
but I felt at least deserved to be brought up here.
Yeah, I only say that I'm always for someone who feels like that they were left out or whatnot. So in this situation, by all means, yes. I wasn't the promoter, and I don't know what they were. You know what I mean? But work is work, and I think that's what it is. But if you're going out there with a message, you need to kind of stick to your message, or else things like this will happen in the community. Wrestlers will maybe not trust a promoter as much because they're banking on one thing and then they get another. And I don't know. Again, this is supposed to be for the culture. Whose culture is what you want to ask there? And again, I'm not going to challenge it because I don't know any better. But it is an interesting talking point.
Yeah, but I will say this: Ashe had a really awesome show at FSW Arena that was all black, and it's kind of a shame that it doesn't have the same reach as For the Culture does on a GCW collective. Because, and I know there were people that decided last minute to go to it because they felt a way about Heels Have Eyes not having a For the Culture with white people on, so they decided they wanted to go support the all black show that was there.
And that's perfectly fair. That's perfectly fair. That's why there's 19 million shows going on here, so that you can find and support absolutely what you're looking for, because time and money for everyone right now is super precious. Says brunch 11 or maybe 12 could be absolutely brilliant in New Orleans. As gay as Vegas is, New Orleans is 10 times that gay. I'm trusting Reed. Reed.
No, I get it. Like the Mardi Gras theme combined with brunch is definitely going to be a spectacle.
I think if Effie can keep his headaches from going too far, because he really does publicly out there be like, man, I'll never book one of these again, because he just gets flooded with talent. Maybe there's just not enough big stages for all of the talent that needs representation more. But thank goodness we have people like Effie that really do their best to try to elevate as many as possible. I could definitely say with Effie's Big Gay Brunch, year after year, the talent level goes up higher and higher. And I'm very proud of everyone that's involved in that, just for inclusion purposes alone.
Yeah. And then the only other change to the lineup was JCW being replaced by the WrestleCon Super Show. I think if anything, like, I love DDT. I love that TJPW are here, or Defy and everyone else, but maybe we should be looking at kind of rotating out a couple of these promotions and finding new ones to freshen up the lineup.
Yeah. I mean, if you didn't sell more than 250 tickets, maybe take a break.
Yeah.
Or maybe we just grab your top 3 to 5 talent and give them a job for the weekend. But I mean, yeah, I was looking at ticket sales the whole time and tracking them and going, okay, they're not moving third row. I wonder how they're going to come back again. So, I mean, yeah, take the 3 smallest shows and maybe grab the top talent off those 3 smallest shows, and maybe put something else in there. I'd love to see another Lucha show from Gringo. I mean, we could put that in the spot of one of these companies that didn't sell well. But you're right. It's kind of ballsy, because some of these companies had never been in a venue even half that size, and probably haven't even sold as much as 1/8 of the amount of those tickets. So it's but they bought the venue, so you might as well use it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's more efficient if nothing else, and that's why they did it.
Well, yeah, it's the money's still coming in, Well, boys. We did almost
Sorry.
4 hours.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's a long ass show.
You know what though? We haven't done one in a while. We haven't had a chance to talk. Screwball hasn't been on in a little bit. He always has stuff to say. We always have a lot to talk about. So
I came in with a mission this time around, so yeah.
you know what though? I think I can say this, and you know, that preparation actually does matter. It
Yeah.
really does. It makes sure that you sound more like you're, you know, just like you have complete thoughts. It's really hard for anyone to give a complete thought like live off the top of their head. When you write down your bullet points, it's just so much easier, and it makes your argument stronger.
Yep.
I listened to it and then got convinced because you were able to wrap up everything so well. So no, yeah, that's why this this little review on just JJSB was 2,800 words.
Yeah, you gotta make the stuff you're most passionate about. You need to make sure you execute it properly.
Absolutely. What's this last part here? He said Louisiana in terms of locations close to Tennessee. So I'm hoping that NOLA. I don't know. Again, it's like the Hammerstein situation. Let's book ourselves into situations where we can't be ourselves.
Yeah, and I will say this, with the political climate going into the South and doing a big gay brunch in the South, there's a lot of queer talent that are making waves there, that are doing it in spite of the fact that they're getting hate thrown them at every show, like that we don't have it like Pride style in Vegas because we're kind of in a better area for LGBTQ talent. So the ones that are there are working 10 times as hard, and I hope to see a lot of them on Big Gay Brunch next year.
I'm going to speak on behalf of my uncle who is gay, and I will say tough gays are the way it's always been. Gays used to always have to fight. They always used to have fucking problems. There was always static. There was always anywhere historically. So, I mean, old fashioned is the tough fighting gays. And anybody who understands the culture knows that anyone from about 45 and up, they all had to know how to fight because life was just different then.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately, it looks like we're
yes.
kind of you're getting back into that direction when we shouldn't be.
Never know. Never know. But it's yeah, so now we're looking to New Orleans. We'll see what happens there. That's quite a ways out though, but I would have to say that most of this was a success. Most of this collective weekend was a success. We're not talking about really any major injuries. We're not talking about any major fuck ups, you know.
And I didn't leave any show unhappy. Like Bloodsport hit, Joey Janela's Spring Break hit, Clusterfuck. It was fun for what it was, but I think I maybe had a little bit higher expectations. But
same.
When Philly was that great, it's hard. Eventually, they were going to have to do a clusterfuck, which didn't maybe live up to the previous year, and this happened.
Last year was strong. Yeah, last year was strong. That's for sure. That was like the show of the night for me, or show of the weekend last year. But I'm glad that Spring Break delivered on everything that it definitely had intended for. All right, we did it. Holy shit.
Well, I guess why we have everybody here for one last time, I just want to say, like, I see a couple of you for sure, like, stuck in with us for the whole 4 fucking hours. Love you. Thank you for that. I hope that tonight you tuning in was well worth it. We missed you guys. And we just wanted to tell you guys that we never forgot you guys. We never were gone for long. It's just that we have to take a 1 week, 2 week break until GCW gets everything together. And when that official launch kicks off, trust me, we will be flooding your Twitter with all kinds of messages about it. So thank you. Thank you very much. We're humbled. We're very thankful. Yes, you will be seeing West Coast correspondent Screwball on the show when it's
appropriate. Yes, I don't want to be on every one of these, so I'll keep it to the ones where I've attended shows. Yeah.
Same thing with Frank and the East Coast correspondent as well.
Shout out to the East Coast correspondent.
If anything, I can tell you that our little team of 4 is intact. The gentlemen here that we have between East Coast and West Coast, if you haven't understood by now tonight, we've handpicked these gentlemen because they know they're wrestling, they're intelligent, they're verbose, they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, we know about what's going on the West Coast and the East Coast respectively, not just GCW, so we can tell you who's on the come up. And who you might be seeing eventually, hopefully as soon as in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're really trying our best. Again, at best, I feel like we're good amateurs. Clown, yes, it was great having you guys back tonight and the chat. You are missed. All of you are no shit. It feels weird without everything. Scott Effinger said, I've met Frank. Frank's awesome. Frank's awesome. If you get a chance, say hi to him. He's a really nice guy and he has a good heart. And just like everybody we have on here. So yeah, if you ever see Screwball out, or if you ever see Frank out, or any of us, please come up and say hi.
I don't bite.
Everybody has been so awesome. Screwball bites for $5 or more.
No, I'll leave that to Adriel.
Oh. But without repeating myself, thank you so much. We look forward to doing our best with the new podcast. We are doing this from the ground up. So whatever you see on the first show will be our base, and we're only going to get better from there. Ah ha 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 ha! Got him with the mute button.
Hey, 4 hours in, damn it.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
true.
I got my mute button cherry tonight, so yeah.
That's true. That's
well,
true.
luckily,
A virgin
Stanley
no more.
Stanley will never find this channel, so we're good. But yeah, thank you everybody. It was nice seeing all the messages over the weekend, seeing everybody back in chat tonight, and yeah, can't wait to see everyone back again on GCW's YouTube. Hopefully next time.
All right. Well, there's only way to close out the only, possibly the last GCW Plant podcast we ever do. Isn't
Yes.
that awesome?
Yes,
Yes and
hopefully.
no.
Yeah.
Yes and no. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to move on to bigger and better things.
We've graduated, son. We've graduated.
One night stand was a good night to bring it back. All right,
think
Screwball, any last words before we send everyone out of here?
Support your local wrestling, support all independent wrestling. It's all connected. GCW does not exist without the guys that are below them, and you know, like you're gonna see like all the top talent first on the smaller shows. So it's important to support your smaller scenes in addition to the big GCW collective.
Very well said.
I was about to say, that's a perfect way to end it here. All right. Well, thank
Yeah.
you, everybody. And till next time, keep track of our socials, and we'll keep you updated on when Game Changer World will be live and available.
And now that the collective is over, we are really moving on that as quick as possible. We really miss doing this, and we want to get up and rolling ASAP.
Yeah.
No lie.
If only the timing had worked to where we could have actually done the proper debut this week, it would have been perfect. But you know,
So
yeah, maybe next week's better.
I was shooting for last week because I was going to have the first show be Brett and Effie, and I was going to have them put over the collective, and that was going to be our start. So we're just rolling with the punches until it's done. But yeah, we were basically handed over on 3/23, so March 23rd. So literally a month ago now.
All right. So ready to send them out of here. Live.
Long live.
Long live.
G.
C.
C.
W.
W.
Thank you,
Love
everyone.
y'all. Good night.